Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Brain Waves, back with part two on the Trump U.S. citizen deportation conversation, specifically as it relates to Black Americans, African Americans, however you want to refer to it. You see, one thing about this particular country, I find it interesting that a lot of people didn't give a flying flip about our United States Constitution, about amendments, about laws, about voting. You had a lot of content creators, for example. A lot of the YouTube content creators told you to not even vote. This is how some of y'all got into this situation in the first place. People were like, hey, I'm not voting. I'm not getting involved with this. I don't care about this. Why should I care? Why should I get involved? You had some of these YouTube content creators, for example, tell you that by you voting into the system, that you are engaging in something that's wicked and satanic, and that if you call yourself a Bible believer, this is what these content creators were putting out. They said that if you were a Bible believer, that you were in sin or that you're wicked because you're voting and you're getting involved with the law and you're selling out, you're a sellout and all these things. And now here we are in 2025 with the whole big, beautiful bill passing, the whole court injunction situation with President Trump. And now all these content creators, these hypocritical content creators, these hypocritical platforms want to tell you to now get involved. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's concerned about the law. Now, everyone is a legal scholar on how the law works. Isn't that interesting? It's very interesting how things work. Now, what I'm going to break down in today's show and what we're going to take a look at, we're going to actually look and get the breakdown on what this whole deportation situation means, what the law means, who it applies to and not to, from two different attorneys. That's right. We're going to get the perspectives on two different attorneys. And what I want everybody that's here right now watching the show, what I want y'all to pay attention to is watch how the trolls are going to come up here in the chat. This is for everybody that's here early. I want you to observe how the trolls are going to come in the chat and be like, well, you're showing a right-wing attorney. Well, you're showing a left-wing attorney. You support the left, you support the right. Listen, y'all, I'm straight down the middle. The only thing I support is what's right. But I want you to observe how the troll's going to do that, because I'm going to show you both perspectives. I'm going to show you both perspectives, but nonetheless, they're still attorneys. And this is the breakdown on what the Constitution means, this whole 14th Amendment conversation, who it applies to, who it does not apply to. And we're going to clarify all this confusion in the YouTube streets, because you got a lot of content creators right now just trying to get a YouTube check. And they're going around saying, oh, they're going to deport Black people next. And then guess what they're gonna do? So first we got Latino, we got the Hispanic community, right? Then now they switching over to Black people. So now all the videos go like, they're deporting Black people, they're deporting Black people. And then the next thing you know, they're gonna switch over. They're deporting Asians, they're deporting Asians. Watch, everybody's gonna, mark my words, everybody's jumping on this bandwagon. Why? So they can get a YouTube check, so they can lie to you, so they can get paid. Y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen when you come into the building. What's up, Medusa? What's going on, Waco? Y'all double tap the screen. They're going to lie to you all and capitalize off of your emotions and your feelings to get a YouTube check. That's all they're going to do. They're going to lie to you. And then when they get done with the Asians, then they're going to be like, they're deporting white people. White people are getting deported. You know why they're doing that? Because it's buzzworthy. Because they're not pulling a Romans 12:2. When the Bible says, be not conformed to the ways of this world, but the renewing of your spirit, they're conforming to the ways of this world. Why? Because that's what everybody's talking about. And that's exactly what they're doing. Now, I'm telling you, man, this is crazy, because there's a lot of misinformation on who can be deported and who will not be deported. And you got a lot of people that's fear mongering. Okay. Again, ignore the trolls in the chat. The moment that I said it, the trolls pull up. And the first thing they say is stupid stuff. Moderators, I want you on the job today. I normally don't ask y'all to be on the job. For all my moderators, if somebody comes up in here trolling, time they ass out. So what do I mean by trolling? The first words that come out their mouth is they name calling, they saying hypocritical stuff, they being stupid, they just being dumb on the platform. There's somebody that's already in the chat that need to get timed out. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to give the people, us the people. Everybody wants to talk about the Constitution. What does it start out saying? We the people, we the people, we the people. Here I am trying to give us the people a legal breakdown, a legal perspective from attorneys, not from me, not from somebody on YouTube that just got their personal opinion. I'm giving you breakdowns from attorneys on what this big, beautiful bill means, what the injunctions mean in terms of being deported and not being deported, and who it applies to and who it doesn't apply to. Because there's a lot of fear mongering going on right now on YouTube. You got these content creators, and I gotta say this before I get into the attorney part. You have so many channels, so many content creators and wannabe content creators jumping on the bandwagon of spreading misinformation and fear-mongering people into thinking that they're automatically going to be deported when some of these particular things don't even apply to them. That's right. That's right. And I know some people are going to troll the living daylights out of the chat. So like I said, moderators, if somebody's coming here, listen, if they disagree, that's fine. Let me make this clear. You can disagree with me. There's going to be people that disagree with me. I do not expect everybody watching me to agree with me. That's insanity. I'm not stupid. You see what I'm saying? I know there's going to be a ton of people, but brainwaves, da 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 da. Listen, I don't give a flying flip if you disagree with me. Rock out in the chat. But one thing you're not going to be doing is being disrespectful on my platform. This is my house. Y'all in my crib. I'm not coming to your house, and I don't go to your house being disrespectful. So you damn sure ain't finna come up in here and be mine. So if any of my moderators see anybody in the chat being disrespectful, time them out. And if they spam them, block them. Like I said, you're free to disagree in the chat. Let me make this clear, because I don't want to hear nobody say, oh, he won't let nobody do this. He banning people. I'm laying down some ground rules before we get into the attorneys. Feel free to disagree all day, every day. I have no problem with that. This is America. You got freedom to disagree. This ain't no dictatorship. I'm not forcing nobody to agree with me, but I'm making something clear right now. If you come in here calling me dumb names and trolling, you will get timed out. You will get blocked. So I don't want to hear nothing about, well, I got timed out and blocked. It's because you opened your mouth, you start calling me names, saying something stupid. When I'm being respectful to everybody here, and I'm allowing everybody here to rock out. What's up, Tony Anthony? Appreciate that. So listen, here's what we're looking at and what I'm about to get on the screen. I want to show you two things. Number one, let's take a look at this here, okay? What we're looking at here is an idea of how things work. Okay, this is an idea. Listen, don't say no like dumb comments like, I don't know, we're absolutely not free. Listen, I'm not stupid. We have freedom enough to come up here on YouTube. You got freedom enough to come up here and say the comment that you said, right? That's what I'm referring to. Why are you taking what I said out of context? See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, where people are trying to twist my words as if I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Y'all sit down and y'all listen, because I'm going to take y'all to school today. Check this out. And again, moderators, I need my mods to be on the job today. If you troll, you get timed out. You repeat troll, you're getting banned. I don't hear nobody saying I'm banning people. I'm a coward. I ain't no damn coward. I'm an American. I'm more American than some of y'all that's dealing with this situation. Listen, I ain't concerned about being deported. Y'all have no idea. I'm black and blue, straight up American. But this ain't about me. This is about you all. So let's start with the facts here, okay? And this is something y'all need to understand. Let's get into this, and then we're going to get into the attorneys. And make sure y'all double tap the screen when y'all come into the building. Okay, Let's see. This is a little. Let me see if I could do this so y'all can see it all. Hopefully, this will fit on the screen. I don't know if it's gonna fit on the screen. If not, then let me see. You know what? We'll just do it like this. Let me try to rock out with it like this so y'all can see what I'm sharing, y'all. I want y'all to understand something. Okay, hopefully, yeah, y'all can read that. So what we're looking at is first how other countries get down. Because everyone's criticizing America right now. Everyone is mad, blaming that it's just America and that other countries don't have this issue. This is the rhetoric that's coming out. This is only taking place in America. Every other country got it down. America don't know what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. So what I want to show you is how other countries get down, okay? You will find many countries have strict immigration laws. And I don't want to spend a lot of time breaking this down because we're about to jump to the attorneys. Some examples of these strict immigration laws include Japan, South Korea, Switzerland, and Austria. It is not limited to these countries. These are examples of strict immigration laws. Please keep this in mind that it's not only these 4 countries. There are many countries, as you can see. It goes on to say that these countries have rigorous requirements for permanent residency and citizenship, often involving long processing times, not short, long processing times, extensive documentation, and high levels of scrutiny. Now, why do they have these strict immigration laws? Okay, and I'm saying this so you can understand what's going on here in America. 1, you have the cultural preservation. Some countries prioritize maintaining their cultural identity and social structure, leading to stricter immigration policies to limit foreign influence. If you have a nation, as the example that I gave in part 1 in yesterday's live stream, if you have a nation and let's just say it's an Asian nation, and then you have Americans, let's say the Asian nation, you have 80% of Americans coming in. I'm just giving y'all a scenario. That nation will no longer be an Asian nation culturally. It will become an American nation. So in order to preserve the culture of that particular nation, they have to set limits on how many people of other ethnicities can actually become citizens. Okay, you have economic considerations. There is a concern, just like we got concerns here in America, about the impact of immigration on the domestic workforce. Wages and social welfare systems, they also drive stricter policies. We have that here in America. This does affect, and we have been affected by this. Okay, then you have security and stability. Some nations prioritize national security and stability. That's what we're hearing here in America. What you're hearing about Trump and ICE and all them, get them out of here, deporting, all this stuff. It's about national security. Some nations actually prioritize that. And now that America is prioritizing that, now everybody's getting in their feelings, right? Okay, also stability. And then it leads to stricter border controls and vetting processes for immigrants. That's why things are getting stricter. Things are getting harder. It's harder to get in. It was easier to get in, for example, under the Biden administration, just prior to Trump getting. Y'all got to remember, Trump only been in for what, 6 months or so now, roughly. Anyway, then you also have overpopulation concerns. Everybody's talking about the cities are crowded. The streets are crowded. Everything's so crowded. Well, if you allow everybody and their grandma to come in here literally into America, it's going to be overcrowded even more. Now, some countries are facing overpopulation issues, and they may implement stricter immigration laws to manage population growth. Okay? I mean, it's crazy, man. Like, for example, I'm just going to go through this, and then we're going to get to the attorneys. In Japan, citizenship is difficult to obtain, requiring renunciation of other citizenships. So listen, let me make this clear, and this is very important. Let me highlight this. This is very important. In Japan, if they want you, according to Jager and Josh, if they want you, say if you go to Japan and you want to become a full-fledged citizen of Japan, you have to renounce your other citizenships. Then you got to go through a lengthy residency period. And then you got to go through this challenging interview process. Listen, y'all, this is about security. See, if you have loyalty to another country, then that means you can betray America. It doesn't mean that you will, but you can. Why? Because you got loyalty in multiple places. See, a lot of people are not thinking about this, okay? The same thing goes to South Korea, similar to Japan. South Korea has stringent immigration policies with a complex process for obtaining citizenship. Now, Switzerland. We're talking about Switzerland, for example. While not the most challenging overall, Switzerland is known for its complex immigration system with high barriers to permanent residency and citizenship. I'm saying this for a reason because we're going somewhere. Austria, right? Austria has a long and complex process for naturalization, making it one of the most challenging countries in the EU for immigration. We have the Vatican City. Citizenship is primarily granted to those serving in the Catholic Church and residing in Vatican City or Rome. So that means that you can't even just come to the Vatican City. You literally got to be about that Catholic faith. So if you don't want to be about the Catholic faith and the Catholic religion, good luck trying to be a citizen of Vatican City. Do you see what this is setting up here? I'm showing you this for a reason. And then you got Bhutan. They strictly limit citizenship to those born to two Bhutanese citizens, making it very difficult for foreigners to become citizens, according to World Population Review. Okay, now I gave you this, and I want to come back to this. Citizenship in Japan is difficult to obtain, requiring renunciation of other citizenships. Remember this. Now, what we about to get into is an attorney's breakdown. I have two attorneys. And I don't want to hear nobody saying, oh, you catering to the right, you're catering to the left. Listen, I have two attorneys, two different perspectives on what this whole big, beautiful bill, what the whole situation with the courts and all of that mean as it relates to immigrants. If you're not an immigrant, this does not concern you. And I'm talking about you a full-fledged citizen where you don't have any loyalty to another country or another nation. There's a lot of people that's here in America that have loyalty to other nations. Y'all got to stop and think this. They rep other nations. Think about what was going on when we had the protests going on in LA. Y'all remember at the protests in LA when ICE finally stepped up and they started deporting everybody and they was wilding out protesting. They had their Mexican flags. They were showing their flags. What does that mean? That means that they're loyal to Mexico. They're loyal to Mexico and whatever country they repping out there. They're not waving their American flag. They're waving other flags. That means that they're not loyal to America. And then you got people crying about, oh, they need to be in. And I understand that's where they came from, but now you in a new country. And this works around the world is what I'm trying to get people to understand. A lot of you are not cultural. A lot of you have not traveled. A lot of you have not been there. And those of you that have understand what I'm saying. It's extremely hard to become a citizen in another country. Many countries, extremely hard. They ain't just gonna let you in, but yet here in America, we think that it's any different. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at an attorney's video, okay? Now, believe this particular attorney here, what you're gonna see, this is attorney Andrew Branca. He has an actual show, and I want us to listen to what this attorney has to say regarding what does this whole immigration situation mean? What does it mean legally? What does it mean, again, legally? This is not about how you feel about it. This is not about personal opinions and all of this. This is what the law says as it relates to where we are today, July the 5th, 2025. And immigration laws and who's actually a citizen and who's not a citizen and what this means. So let's get the breakdown because we about to go to school today. Let go.
That birthright citizenship is so obvious that surely the plaintiffs here have to win. That Trump's executive order, this executive order on birthright citizenship, clearly, it's obviously unconstitutional. It is so obviously unconstitutional. How can anyone question it? Like this account says, birthright citizenship is in the plain text in the Constitution. See also U.S. v. Wong Kim Ark, which is an 1898 Supreme Court decision that touches on the question of birthright citizenship. And many people believe this. Many people believe birthrights. Everyone knows birthright citizenship is the truth, is the law. It's in the plain text of the 14th Amendment, isn't it? And I can tell you, as an American citizen who's lived here most of my life, except when I've been occasionally overseas for a time or two, I've also believed, I have been told my entire life that if someone's born on U.S. soil, they're an American citizen. The problem is, it's a lie. It's a complete and utter lie. That's not what the law says, and it's not what the 14th Amendment says.
Do y'all hear that? We're going to get a breakdown on this. We've been lied to, okay? And then you got other content creators who are not showing you this from a legal perspective. Remember, the things that I talk about here, y'all, I'm showing you from a legal perspective, not my personal feelings, unless I state that. There are times when I state, this is my opinion on it. This is how I feel about the matter. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm showing everybody what the law says. And we're hearing that what we've been told is a lie. Now, how it is a lie when people are like, but this is what the Constitution says. This is what the 14th Amendment and the 13th and the 15th. This is what the amendment says. Even going back to the 12th Amendment. That means that it's here in the amendment. It's right here. It's right here. That means that we're legit. We're protected. Are you surprised that we've been lied to? Do y'all actually believe? Listen, man, here we go. Watch this.
And only an extremely superficial understanding of the 14th Amendment could lead someone to that conclusion. Now, of course, there are powerful forces for whom that conclusion is very important. It's really important to powerful people and institutions and agencies that the incorrect understanding be accepted as the law. The incorrect understanding being that anyone born on American soil, regardless of the nationality status of their parents, is automatically an American citizen.
And let me say this again, a reminder. Shout out to all the new people in the building. Welcome to my show. Feel free to rock out. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to agree. Feel free to share your opinions. But one thing that's not tolerated on my platform is trolling. Now, I know it comes with the territory. This is just a reminder. I have a lot of moderators here. If you come into my platform calling me names saying disrespectful-ish, or you call people in the live chat a bunch of disrespectful-ish because they're sharing their opinion. Again, you can disagree with them. But what we're not going to do is just get into no conflict and no war here. Okay? If any of that is going on, you will be timed out by my moderators and or blocked. So again, rock out, disagree, state your argument, say what you want to do, whether you for or against. That is perfectly fine. That is welcome here. But nobody's going to be on here trolling. So when you see yourself get timed out, my moderators are on the job or getting blocked. I'm letting y'all know. So don't even waste your time doing it. Let go.
Certainly the Democrats need this because actual American citizens are no longer voting for them, are discarding the Democrat Party. That's why actual American citizens are being displaced by tens of millions of illegal migrant third world invaders. And of course, the Democrats want the babies those invaders have to also be counted as American citizens, even better than the illegal migrants. Now they're not just counted for purposes of House apportionment and electoral votes and how much federal funding a state receives, talking to you, California. But of course, the babies, if they're accepted as American citizens, also get to vote. A whole new generation of voters for Democrats, of purported American citizens. Unfortunately for this argument, that's not the law. Here is the relevant portion the citizenship portion of the 14th Amendment.
Shout out to BTK for the $2 super chat. Wow. I appreciate you so much. BTK says, my first time here and I've heard truth so far. Thank you, BTK. I really appreciate the support and I hope that you stay along with me. Hope you rock out with me on a lot of topics that I talk about. Listen, y'all, all I'm here to do is tell y'all how things work. I'm not in charge of creating these laws, enforcing these laws, implementing these laws, especially from the top. You see what I'm saying? That got nothing to do with me. I'm just reporting on how the laws work, what the laws are, how they are around the world. Listen, you can get pissed off as pissed off can be. Don't get mad at me. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Y'all need to take that anger and that rage and that upset and try to go politically or legally or whatever it is that you want to do and make that change. I'm just reporting on the news. I'm just telling y'all how it is so we can move accordingly and that we can be empowered and not live in fear. Because you got a lot of fear mongers. People, I saw somebody say in the chat that, oh, well, then if I'm not a natural born, if we're not natural born citizens, then nobody's a citizen. Y'all don't understand what natural born citizen means. And you're going to hear this attorney break it down from a legal perspective. I think a lot of people are misunderstood on what the law means. And that's why when we engage in any legal situation, we have to have legal representation. This is why they always tell you to have legal representation when you're dealing with things of the law, because you might think you have an understanding. You might think you might know. I might think I might know. Someone else might think they might know, but then we don't actually really know what it is because legally there's things about the law that we don't fully understand unless we practice that or we're in that or we deal with that type of environment. So let's continue to let this attorney rock out. Let's go.
And if you just were to take kind of an idiot's view of it, it looks like maybe it does provide for so-called birthright citizenship. It says, all persons born or naturalized, but let's focus on born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Isn't that birthright citizenship, Andrew? It says right there, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Well, it does say that, but it doesn't just say that. And that's the problem.
Did y'all hear that? See, everybody's making an argument on the internet saying, well, the Hispanic people, they're having children, the, Hispanic, Latino, Mexican community. And let me just make this clear. I ain't got no issue with none of these communities that I'll talk about. I don't care if you're Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Caribbean, Haitian. I got no issue. You know what I'm saying? Unless you personally done something to me, I got no problem with you. Right? That's not what this is about. But what this is saying is that if you do belong to another country, you might, if you have allegiance to another country, you might need to think about what it means being an American citizen here. And let me state this again. I'm showing you an attorney that's going to be on the right, and I'm going to show you an attorney that's going to be on the left. So please be reminded before anybody starts saying, well, that's a MAGA attorney. You're supporting a MAGA. You're supporting one perspective. I'm going to show you two different attorneys. I don't know how many times I got to say this. I want y'all to be reminded. And you're going to see that the narrative, regardless of two different attorneys, is essentially the same. Let's go.
There's two conditions that have to be met, and they're separate conditions. Born in the U.S. and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And jurisdiction thereof in this context means more than, for example, the criminal jurisdiction. Because this is not an amendment dealing with criminal law. This is an amendment dealing with political law, with citizenship. Obviously, everyone physically present in the U.S., whether you're a tourist or an invader or an American Native Indian or here on a work permit, or an American citizen. If you're physically present within the borders of the U.S., of course you're subject to our criminal jurisdiction. But this means more than that. It has to be mean more than that, or we wouldn't need that phrase subject to the jurisdiction at all. Because you're automatically subject to criminal jurisdiction, for example, simply by being physically present. If you're born here, you're physically present. So, of course, by default, you're subject to the criminal jurisdiction. The only reason to include subject to the jurisdiction thereof as a separate clause from being physically present, from being born here, is that it means something different than merely being physically present. And in fact, it does mean something different. It means subject not merely to criminal jurisdiction, but to the political jurisdiction of the US, and more importantly, exclusively to the political jurisdiction of the US. And how do we know this? Because the men who wrote and debated and ratified the 14th Amendment explicitly told us that's what it meant. I'm going to show you a bunch of quotes here, and you'll see the font is kind of weird. This is actually imagery from the contemporary.
Again, shout out to all the new people in the building. My apologies for pausing Andrew, or the attorney, Andrew Braca, from speaking, but I got to shout out my audience. I talk to people. Shout out to Ozzy Crosby. Says, dude, I just subscribed to your channel. You look at both sides of the argument. Kudos, brother. Listen, man, this is what America's about. You got to listen to both sides. You can't be all one or all the other. This is one of the reasons why I'm showing y'all both sides of the argument. Now, right now, you got people trolling in the chat, but like, this guy is Black MAGA and he's just showing MAGA. I mentioned this from the beginning of the show. I mentioned this during the show, and I will continue to mention it. Watch how when I switch over to the left, when I switch over to an attorney that's more of a Democratic attorney, watch everybody go like, look, this guy supports the Democrats. He's a demon rat. Watch how they gonna switch up on you. It's crazy, man. I'm just trying to give it to y'all from both sides, because generally when you hear stories and you get situations, you get a one-sided opinion. You get whatever their opinion is, you get whatever they're about, and you don't get it from the other side. So I'm giving both sides. Come on, y'all. Let's go.
Contemporaneous congressional record. When this question of the 14th Amendment,
appreciate you, Lucifer. Appreciate the support,
citizenship clause, was being debated. And I don't want to go through the whole document. It would take too long. I'm just going to ask you to trust me that, first of all, what I'm showing you is the argument among the senators. I don't identify a senator with every quote here. And also, take it on my word that there was no opposing argument. There was 100% consensus among every one of these senators debating and ratifying the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause that this is what it meant. As examples, this senator, I do not presume that anyone will pretend to disguise the fact that the object of this citizenship section is simply to declare that freed Black slaves shall be citizens of the United States. Not invaders, not illegal migrants, not people unlawfully present within the U.S. The purpose of the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause is exclusively to ensure that freed Black slaves who would otherwise be stateless were recognized as American citizens in the aftermath of the Civil War, which of course is when the 14th Amendment was ratified. Another senator here. This will not, of course, the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause, include persons born in the U.S. who are foreigners, aliens who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States. Does not include people born in the U.S. who are foreigners. Now, you may be thinking, well, how are you a foreigner if you're born in the U.S.? Obviously, the contemporaneous senators believed you could be born in the U.S. and still be a foreigner. How would that happen? It happens because by default, you inherit the nationality of your parents. And if your parents are foreign nationals, you are a foreign national. You're born in the U.S., but you are a foreigner. A foreigner. Another senator. Indians, talking about Native American Indians, born within the limits of the United States. So they're born within the U.S., but who maintain tribal relations, so their political jurisdiction is not exclusive to the United States federal government. It's split, at least split, with their tribe, are not, in the sense of this 14th Amendment, born subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. If you have divided political loyalty, you maintain allegiance to a foreign government, a foreign nation.
Listen, y'all.
When your children are born in the U.S., they are not American citizens.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I don't think I was paying attention to that.
They do not qualify under their tribe, are not, in the sense of this 14th Amendment, born subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. If you have divided political loyalty, you maintain allegiance to a foreign government, a foreign nation. When your children are born in the U.S., they are not American citizens.
Did y'all hear that? So you got a lot of people here, okay? You have a lot of people that say, well, hey, I'm from another country, and I've had children here in the United States or on a military base or wherever, U.S. jurisdiction, a U.S. embassy, whatever. That means that they're automatically citizens. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It's been an assumption for a long time because there has not been any enforcement. Listen, a lot of people assume a lot of things until certain things get enforced. And now that we're seeing this enforcement of deportation, now everybody's looking at everything and scrutinizing with a fine pen. But if you really think about it, where were people looking at this and scrutinizing this a long time ago? I have a particular video that was saying in the Latino community. I'll play it in a second. I'm going to play this. I got a video, if I'm not mistaken, in the Latino community. This is coming from somebody that's Latino. She was saying that when they were voting for Trump, when we had the whole Kamala Trump elections going on, that a lot of Latinos voted for Trump because they believed that Black Americans were going to be the ones to get deported, not them. That's right. And this is coming from somebody that's in their community, not me. I'm just sharing with y'all what people said. So now that things are actually taking place with ICE and the police or whatever is to tie up in these cities and situations and stuff like that, now we're actually getting very concerned and getting involved with what's going on. And so anyway, let me continue to play this so I can switch gears because I got more to show y'all, more to play. Let's go.
They do not qualify under the 14th Amendment. By the way, Native Americans born in the U.S. today do qualify as American citizens, not under the 14th Amendment, but because in 1925, Congress passed a statute.
Did y'all hear that? See, everybody keeps quoting the 14th Amendment. Y'all got to understand. Listen, let me break something down. It's just like scripture, right? You got people that quote scripture. You got content creators who claim they're in the biblical truth and they'll quote a scripture. And just by quoting that one scripture doesn't mean that it applies in the full context. You're just using part of it. You got to use the whole thing. When somebody's sitting there looking at what something means, you can't just cherry pick that one part and stand on it. Yes, it says that, but you got to read what comes before and what comes after. You can't just cherry pick it. Same thing when it comes to biblical truth in the scripture. People quote scriptures all day long, but then they leave out the parts of what it actually means. They leave out the context. They leave out the meat and potatoes. This goes with anything. You got people that take clips of folks and then they don't show what somebody fully said. And then they'll make videos going saying, did you hear what that person said? They take one clip, but they don't play the whole thing. See, what I'm doing, I'm playing the whole thing. I'm giving y'all the whole tape. That's what I'm doing. I'm not just taking a little clip from it so it could be taken out of context, whether you're for or against it. I'm showing you the whole thing. That's what a lot of people don't do. And so what a lot of people doing, they just say the 14th Amendment. They jump to that one line and be like, oh, that's it. That's all I need. Listen, y'all, the law is a lot more complicated than that. A lot of y'all was figuring that out when it came to, for example, the Diddy case. You was like, well, how does it work if this the case and they got all this? Listen, y'all, we're not talking about how we feel about the matter. I have not this whole time said, well, this is how I feel about the matter, or what's morally right, or what's biblically right, or if it's even right or wrong in the first place. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about how content creators are spreading misinformation about who's going to get deported and not getting deported. Because right now you got people saying that everybody that's in America is going to get deported. That just doesn't make any sense. How are they going to get rid of, listen, you got people saying to get rid of white folks. Where the hell all the white people going to go then? If you deport every single white person in America, how are we going to have a country? You can't deport every white person, every black person, like every ethnicity. You can't do that. That makes no sense. Some, sure, a few, some, but there's terms and reasons for that. I'm not saying it's right. Not one time did I utter the words and say, oh, this is right. What I'm saying is it don't make any sense for people to spread misinformation and fearmonger you wonderful people that's watching and listening to me into assuming that you're automatically going to get deported. Well, now they're done with the Hispanics. Now they're going on to black folks. Well, I'm black. I'm about to get deported next. Oh, they're done with the black folks. I'm Asian. Now they're going on to the Asian folks. I'm about to get deported just because I'm Asian. Guess what? I thought I was safe because I was white. They done with Hispanics. They done with blacks. They done with Asians. Now they finna go get the white folks. Guess what? I'm about to get deported because I'm white. That's fear mongering. Now, if you fall under the migrant situation, then perhaps we may have a different conversation. But you got these content creators having you to think that just because you're white and you black and you're a full-fledged American citizen, that you're automatically going to get deported. Let me continue to play this, man. I got so much more to show y'all. Let's go.
That specifically provided for citizenship for Native Americans born in the U.S. But the 14th Amendment doesn't do that, and there is no similar statute for...
I want to say something. You got somebody here says the video that I'm sharing is misinformation. So why the hell are you watching me then? You see, if this is misinformation, why are you still in my chat? You've been in my chat for 41 minutes, going on 42 minutes, and you steadily watching me, but you claiming it's misinformation. Can't make this stuff up, man. Let's go.
Illegal migrant third world invaders. Another senator. The provision is that...
Listen, when I say deporting citizens, I want to make something clear. Samuel McGraw says they're already deporting citizens. Look at the denaturalization. Look at denaturalizing citizens for deportation. Listen, y'all don't understand what's going on. You have citizens. Okay, this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. You have citizens that are here. Again, I'm not saying whether it's right. I'm not saying whether it's wrong. I'm not saying that, hey, I agree with it or any of that. I'm just trying to break stuff down. You have citizens here that still have allegiance to other countries. Do you understand? You got citizens that are from other countries and they still have political or whatever type of like allegiance to those countries. And then you've got citizens here in America. They have no allegiance to any other country but America. There is no, they came from another country and they was there and they got some type of allegiance there, et cetera, et cetera. Their allegiance is solely America. That's a whole different set of citizens. I'm trying to get y'all to understand this conversation. I'm going to continue to let this attorney speak so I can switch to the other attorney and give you this breakdown. Let's go.
That quote, all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens, close quote. That means subject to the complete jurisdiction thereof. What do we mean by subject to the jurisdiction of the United States? Not owing allegiance to anybody else. That is what it means. And of course, what they're talking about is the allegiance of the parents who give birth to this child born on American soil. Same senator. It cannot be said of any Native American.
So let me, look, I want to answer somebody's question. So you got Indignant says, bro, the Jewish community literally has dual citizenship to Israel and focused on immigrants when this are, I guess these, whatever, this are the people that are literally draining your cough. I'm not sure it is from wars. This is crazy. I'm going to say this. If somebody has dual citizenship, no matter who they are, then they're subject to a potential deportation. This is what I'm trying to get people to understand. Listen, you have citizens here in the United States that are not full-fledged citizens. Did I say they're not citizens? No, I did not. You have citizens here in the United States that are not full-fledged citizens. Those citizens are at high risk right now with what's going on. And this is what I'm trying to get people to understand. They say, well, hey, I'm a citizen. Are you a full-fledged citizen? Do you have any loyalty to any other country or nation? Because if you have any type of loyalty to another country or nation, then you can actually betray the particular country that you're trying to be a part of, which in this case is America. That's why I highlighted what I showed y'all earlier with Japan. For example, Japan, in terms of being a citizen in Japan, they want you to renounce your citizenship with any other nation. So listen, if you from America and you want to become a full citizen, I'm not talking about a partial citizen or whatever it is. I'm talking about a full-blood citizen. You have to renounce your loyalty to other countries and then go through a lengthy stay. You can't just like, hey, I renounce my loyalty to all my, I'm American citizen. I want to become a Japan citizen. I renounce my loyalty and my citizenship to America and then think that's it. No, then you got to stay there for a long time. You got to prove to them that you're loyal to Japan. So what I'm trying to say is that these are the citizens that stand at risk. And this is what I keep trying to let people know so that they can be prepared. So you may be a citizen here, but are you a full-fledged citizen in terms of not having loyalty to another country? This is what I'm trying to get people to understand. So if you have any type of loyalty to another country, then under the Trump administration, they see you as an immigrant. Do y'all understand the breakdown here? I don't care if you white, I don't care if you black, I don't care if you Asian, Hispanic, none of that matters. If you have any type where they look at it, well, you're showing loyalty, which means that even if you have parents that are citizens or have dual citizenship, or they came over here. Again, what a lot of people did was they came over here to America to have their children here in America so that their children will be natural born citizens here in America, right? But yet the parents still have loyal to Mexico or some other country that they came from, which means that that child is going to have loyalty to their parents, which means that that child is going to have loyalty to another country, even though they're here. And these are the situations and scenarios that I'm trying to get people to understand that this applies to. Let me go ahead and continue to play this. Let's go.
American Indian who owes allegiance, partial allegiance, if you please. I might have forgotten to click a couple of those. Sorry, I was quoting them. Partial allegiance, if you please, to some other government that he is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. So a partial allegiance is not enough. It is only those persons who come completely within our jurisdiction, meaning political jurisdiction, who are subject to our laws that we think of as making citizens. Another one. I've already replied to the suggestion as to the Native American Indians being subject to our jurisdiction in the context of the 14th Amendment. They are.
Listen, I think people don't understand what I'm saying. I see a lot of comments here. Y'all not making any sense. You have not a libtard says you can be a dual citizen, which is why when you're in that country and commit a crime, they're under that jurisdiction. Listen, not a libtard. This is what you got to understand. What you said is it's silly. You can be in America or even be traveling in another country. Listen, y'all not making any sense as it relates to who is considered a full-fledged U.S. citizen, who's a partial U.S. citizen, who the deportation applies to and it doesn't apply to. Listen, if you visit any country on the face of the planet, if you're traveling to any country, then you commit a crime, you're subject to the laws. You don't even have to be a citizen. What is what you're saying have to do with being a citizen? You literally could be a visitor in that country. If you break their laws, visiting their country, you're subject to their laws. Come on now. This is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. The law. Not my opinions, not my feelings, the law. That has nothing to do with being a citizen. Literally, any country on the face of the planet, as a visitor, you're subject to the law. So why is it different now that we in America, speaking of which, when we see the laws that are before us and we see what it says and what it does not say and what it pertains to, and now we like, no, but that don't pertain to us, or we ain't subject to the law, or this and that. We're talking about the law and the law. I'm not saying whether this is right. That's a separate live stream to talk about whether this is right and what you should do. If you believe it's wrong, then you need to take legal action and do whatever it is you can. You need to inform people. The first step in order for people to take action is give them the information. And that's what I'm doing. If you get the information, then if you believe this is wrong, then you can take the steps to do what you need to do. Come on now, let's go.
Are not subject to our jurisdiction in the sense of owing allegiance solely to the United States. Now, all this amendment provides is that all persons born in the United States and not subject to some foreign power. For that, no doubt, is the meaning of the committee who've brought the matter before us, shall be considered as citizens of the United States. Another senator. I concur entirely with the honorable senator from Illinois in holding that the word jurisdiction, as here employed, ought to be construed so as to imply a full and complete jurisdiction on the part of the United States. Certainly, gentlemen cannot contend that a Native American Indian belonging to a tribe, although born...
I'm going to say this once, and I'm not going to say this again. James Morton, this is my show. I'm going to talk. I'm going to run my show how I please. Just like if you had a channel, you're going to run your show as you please. This is a live stream, not a video. So I'm going to talk. I'm not just going to sit there and let somebody else in a video go talk for 20, 30, 40 minutes and me not intercede. That's not how YouTube works. Anybody that's running a live stream is going to do this. Come on now. This is not a video. It's a live stream.
Born within the limits of a state is subject to the full and complete jurisdiction. That question has long been adjudicated so far as the usage of the government is involved. Another, I understand the words here, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, to mean fully and completely subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. In other words, the parent of the child has no divided loyalties. They are an American citizen. They are not a citizen of a foreign nation. And you might remember this comment says, oh, check out Wong Kim Ark. All right, Wong Kim Ark was a U.S. Supreme Court decision from 1898. It involved a Chinese national. His parents lived in the United States. He was born in the United States. The family took a trip back to China. And on their return to the U.S., his parents were allowed back into the U.S., but he was not. His parents had permanent resident status in the U.S. They were permanently domiciled in the U.S. But he didn't have that status, Wong Kim Ark, the child. And the border officers said, well, your parents have a right to come in. They're permanent resident aliens. But you don't have that status, so you can't come in. And so he argued that I should be recognized as an American citizen. And the Supreme Court in Wong Kim Ark said, yes, you should be recognized as an American citizen. But their specific reasoning is important here. Whether the...
Now, y'all got to listen up because y'all just hear, oh, well, he won the case. That's it. Well, he won. That means it's automatically right. Y'all have to understand. Y'all do not understand how law works. It's not about personal opinions. Listen, y'all, the law got nothing to do with anybody's feelings. That's not how the law works. We're talking about the law here. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention now. Listen, a lot of people's like, oh, well, he won. So that's the end of it. That's the end of the story. He won. That means we can use this to uphold everything. Not so fast. Listen up.
Question, the legal question before this court, Supreme Court case. Whether a child born in the United States of parents who at the time of his birth were foreign nationals, but have a permanent domicile and residence in the United States, meaning they're making their life in the U.S. permanently. So they've made a permanent physical commitment to the U.S., and they are there lawfully, the U.S. government has a reciprocal acceptance of their presence. Children born to permanent resident aliens in the United States should be deemed American citizens. But this doesn't apply to illegal migrant third world invaders.
Do you hear this? This situation here does not apply to illegal immigrants.
It doesn't apply to people who are unlawfully in the U.S.
Do you hear that? It doesn't apply to people who are unlawfully in the United States.
To people who America has not accepted as
Do y'all hear what's being said?
permanent resident aliens in our nation. It doesn't apply to people who illegally cross the border. It doesn't apply to people who overstay their work visa, their student visa, their tourist visa. It doesn't apply to people who are in the process of applying for asylum status and then get their asylum request denied.
Do y'all hear that? There's so many scenarios that's mentioned there. You hear people, oh, well, they had a visa, they had this, they had that. Just because they had that doesn't mean that the situations are legit. A lot of people assume that everything's legit, right? I'm not saying there aren't legit cases, but just because you hear that being argued doesn't mean that it's necessarily legit. This is a point that I want y'all to take into consideration here. Let's go.
No longer have lawful status. It doesn't apply to people who may have been let in, like the Haitians were let in because they turned their nation into a hellhole. And now that status is overturned and they're no longer lawfully in the U.S. It does, and they were never intended, importantly, all these people on temporary visas, work, student, tourist, or on temporary asylum claims, none of them are permanently accepted as residents of the U.S.
But they believe in those situations that they're permanent residents just because they have those particular documents. And that's not what those particular documents were set for. So there's a lot to this when it comes to the law. Now, everybody that's pissed off at me, I didn't create the law. This ain't got nothing to do with me. Take your anger and your rage from me reporting on the truth and what's going on, and you go down. If you pissed off about the law, then you stand up and do something politically. It's not just black and white. Okay, let's go.
None of them are in the position of the parents of Wong Kim Ark. And so none of their children are in the position of Wong Kim Ark. So Wong Kim Ark is completely irrelevant as Supreme Court precedent for the illegal migrant third world invaders' children who happen to be born on American soil. By the way, I would argue Wong Kim Ark is bad law. Just 2 years before this decision, the same panel of Supreme Court justices issued the infamous Dred Scott decision that said blacks born in America were not American citizens. That was later overturned by the Supreme Court. So Supreme Courts, especially this one, makes bad decisions that have to be overturned. I would suggest that this was a decision that was expedient at the time when we had lots of Chinese immigrants in America and we were struggling with how to deal with them and their children, but it's not supported by the actual text of the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment doesn't say that permanent resident aliens get some kind of exception. That's not in the 14th Amendment. So I think this is bad law. But even if you disagree and wish this to be good law, it still does not apply to illegal migrant third world invaders and their children. Thanks for watching this highlight.
Okay, so I'm about to switch gears to a different attorney, but as y'all heard, it does not apply. Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of people think that it automatically applies to them. Listen, man, y'all got to really understand how law works. People, we be thinking that the law applies to us in certain situations and it does not, or it applies to someone else in certain situations it does not. And then you wonder why certain people get off on cases and this and this and that. Now, I'm going to switch gears and go to a different attorney. Okay. And
before we get started, please.
We're about to get a whole different attorney's approach here. Okay. We're going to get a whole different attorneys, a whole different perspective. You got people saying, oh, you're MAGA this, you're MAGA that, you're supporting this. I'm straight down the middle. I'm straight down the middle. So now you're going to have the trolls come into the chat and be like, look, he supports the left. He supports the Democrats. He's all about the Democrats, because they didn't watch the first half of this show and see that I had what somebody would consider a MAGA or right wing or what have you attorney up here. Okay, so now let's listen to this. Let's go.
A case where it used birthright citizenship, used that issue to basically prohibit judges, federal judges, lower court judges from issuing.
Please make sure y'all double tap the screen so y'all can make sure y'all get this perspective. All you got to do is double tap the screen. Y'all here, y'all rocking out, y'all watching. Please double tap the screen. Right? I see all the people in the building. Shout out to those of you that double tap the screen. It will not interrupt anything that you're watching. Let's go.
Universal or nationwide injunctions.
Hold on, let me shout out somebody else in the audience where I got to pause. Shout out to Yvette M. Primus. She says, thank you. This is good information. It should be clear. That would help a lot. Exactly. All I'm trying to do is give people the information, whether you're for this or against it, right? I'm showing you both sides of the coin, and you can make decisions accordingly. If you fine with it, do nothing. If you got a problem with it, then you need to mobilize. You need to inform your people, or if you're of a certain ethnicity, then you need to inform the people of your ethnicity or other ethnicities. Maybe you need to start a channel, get the word out, start moving, do what you need to do. Do what you believe is best. That's all I'm doing. I'm just giving you the news from both perspectives. Let's go.
A question has arisen that I want to address in this video. And that question is whether or not Trump can deport Black Americans, African Americans, especially those whose ancestors were enslaved in this country, what many people call foundational Black Americans. And the answer is yes, he certainly can. This case made it much easier. This case gave Trump the tool to do just that. Despite him saying, I heard him say it with my own ears recently, the day after the case came down, or maybe even the same day, that the 14th Amendment was added for the babies of slaves. Well, that is true. However, the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment does not apply just to the descendants of enslaved people. That is not the way it is written. It actually says all persons. So it's not written that way. It's not interpreted that way, and it's not applied that way.
Let me also make something clear. Let me make something very clear here. I'm showing you two different perspectives. These perspectives have nothing to do with my personal perspectives. They're making points. They're bringing up things and different perspectives on how it relates to this whole big, beautiful bill, the whole deportation stuff, the whole Supreme Court injunction situation. There's two different perspectives. You could say two different political parties, two different everything. That has nothing to do with me personally. As I have stated for over an hour, I have not given my personal opinion on this. So everybody in the chat that's saying, oh, this is my personal opinion, I told you, watch how they're going to switch up on me. And that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing some people switched up already. That's how they're going to do. Anyway, let's continue.
Way. All right, so keep that in mind. It's really important. And I believe Trump is saying that so that he can divide the Black and brown community. To say this is not, birthright citizenship is not for you. Basically, it's for Blacks. And you're trying to take something in, you're trying to take something from them. I think that is intended to pit us against each other. And I also think that he's saying that to deceive Blacks into believing that he is for us, when clearly he is not for us. All right? But let's get back to nationwide injunctions, because when the U.S. Supreme Court got rid of nationwide injunctions, that basically gave Trump free rein to do just about anything he wants to do. including deporting American citizens, not just black Americans. And the basic reason why is because no judge can stop him, not with respect to the entire country. A judge can stop someone who files lawsuit against Trump. But think about it. If Trump snatch up, say, 100 African Americans and deport them to Sudan or Libya or Nicaragua or El Salvador or wherever, those people are gone. They're out of the country. They're God knows wherever. And so let's say one of their family members file a lawsuit on their behalf. And let's say they successfully get an injunction from the judge. Well, it used to be, before this case, that the judge could say, basically, you got to return all 100 of these African Americans because you unlawfully deported them. But now, with this case, the judge could only say you got to bring that one person back. And the other 99, although it's unlawful, he cannot prohibit that unless they do a class action lawsuit. And people, class action lawsuits can take months, if not years, to get certified. So those other 99 African American people could be over there lingering, rotten in some jail or whatever, while their cases matriculates through the court system. It's almost like saying you can't kill that man after you then shot him. Listen, this court case essentially said to judges, you cannot issue nationwide injunctions except for certified class action lawsuits, even if what he is doing is unlawful. So if you phrase the question this way, can Trump lawfully deport African Americans? The answer is clearly no. But that's not the question. The question is, can he deport African Americans even if it's unlawful? The answer to that question is yes, because there's nobody to stop him anymore. All right, I want that to be clear. This is not just about immigrants. This is not just about Latinos. This case went far beyond immigration. I hope I'm making this clear. This is not just about immigrants. This is not just about Latino immigrants. This case went far beyond immigration. It basically, at this point, jeopardizes all of our rights.
Now, I want to bring up a point there. This particular argument here from this attorney is saying that what the law, everything that just took place, I'm just gonna put it like this, everything that just took place over the last week or so jeopardizes all of our rights. Now, that's perhaps a potential bigger argument, because though we see that it may affect a certain group of people and it may not affect everyone as it is today, what other things may come down the pipeline that may affect everyone or potentially everyone? These are questions we got to ask. There's some things, like I said, there's some videos I could pull up, and I might do that in another live stream, where you got some people that were pro-Trump, and there's some things that came out of the big beautiful bill and they're pissed off by it. And it was like, hey, I'm done with Trump. I ain't rocking with Trump no more. Obviously, you got people that are against Trump, and they were part of the Democratic Party, and they like, hey, look, we told you so. We tried to tell you. How do you enjoy getting what you asked for, what you voted for? You know, there's arguments on both sides of the coin. But anyway, let's go.
All of them. Now, I'm going to take you to the case, and I'm going to show you that. So Amy Coney Barrett, Justice Barrett, wrote the case for the majority, and she said that judges could no longer issue nationwide injunctions even if what Trump is doing is unlawful. You may say, wow, really? Yes, really. Let me show you. Because it jeopardizes all of our rights. So the very first thing, now I went over this in the video that I did a day or so ago about this very same thing, but this one, I'm talking specifically to African Americans, whether we can be deported or any other American for that matter. So at the very top, Justice Barrett says the applications do not raise and thus we do not address. Now, what applications are she talking about? Well, when the three judges issued those nationwide injunctions, the Trump administration filed applications for a stay. The word stay means stop. So they filed applications with SCOTUS. They were asking SCOTUS to stop the injunctions from stopping them from doing what they wanted to do, which was redefine birthright citizenship. All right. And the appellate court agreed with the lower court, but when it got to SCOTUS, SCOTUS agreed with the Trump administration and granted their applications, basically stopping the nationwide injunctions and also saying to the judges, don't issue any more unless they are pursuant to class action lawsuits or to the one person or several people who are directly in a lawsuit, but don't apply that to everybody else. So since it applies only to the people named in the lawsuit, the rest of what Trump does by his executive order to the other people, he can get away with it, whether it's lawful or not, whether it's constitutional or not constitutional. All right. So here we go. She says the application do not raise and thus we do not address the question whether the executive order violates the Citizenship Clause or Nationality Act. The issue before us is one of remedy. The remedy is getting the application granted. Doesn't have anything to do with the constitutionality of the executive order that Trump issued. And that is whether under the Judiciary Act of 1789, which creates federal courts, have equitable authority to issue universal injunctions. And I already told you they answered the question in the negative. No, they do not have that power going forward. Now, Justice Sotomayor, she wrote the dissent, and she called it gamesmanship that the Trump administration did not include whether the executive order was constitutional. She said that was gamesmanship. In other words, they played game because what they really wanted was just to get the court to say that the lower judges can no longer issue universal injunctions. That's what they were trying to get because that's what's holding up Trump's agenda, his Project 2025 agenda, his anti-black agenda, his anti-civil rights agenda. That's what was holding it up. And she says, yet shamefully, this court plays along. A majority of this court decides that these applications of all cases provide the appropriate occasion to resolve the question of universal injunction. And she goes on. Now, if we jump down to the next paragraph, she goes on to say, and this is what I want you to hear very carefully, no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. No right is safe. So we can say as African Americans, we have the right not to be deported because we are citizens. We have birthright citizenship. All right. And it is true. Let me say this. I want to make sure you understand that birthright citizenship was added to the Constitution because of our enslaved ancestors. That's true. Where Trump is wrong is it doesn't just apply to us. Just like equal protection doesn't just apply to us, or due process doesn't just apply to us. So she says no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. So if we say, hey, you can't deport us, in other words, we could say to the ICE agent, you can't deport us. I'm an American citizen. And because of this case, they could tell you, shut up, put your hands behind your back. You're arrested and we're getting ready to deport you. We're putting you on a plane right now. And you say, well, how can they do that? Because of this case. And because no judge could issue a nationwide injunction stopping it from happening. So let's say you and 10 of your buddies are hanging out. ICE pulls up on you, and ICE grabs all 10 of you up and put you on a plane and deport you. Okay? No due process, nothing, just deport you. Now, isn't that unlawful?
Because isn't this the argument that everyone's saying that's happening to the Hispanic, Mexican, Latino community? They're just unlawfully picking them up. They're not giving them due process. That's all people say. They ain't giving no due process. They not doing no due process. They just picking people up, boom, and put them on a plane. Boom, they gone. Picking them up, locking them up, put them on a plane. Right? I mean, herein lies the question. Herein lies the debate. Herein lies the issue. That's what we're seeing take place. And now we're beginning to see it, because y'all know the issue with the Haitian community in New York. You had ICE trying to detain some Haitians in New York, and I'm sure other areas. I'll get to that in a little bit.
Of course it is. You have certain rights. You have the right to due process. You have the right not to be deported. And by the way, Trump has already said that he is going to deport homegrown criminals anyway, right? But let's
now that's another issue right here. Homegrown criminals. So listen, y'all, this is one of the reasons why I tell y'all live right, do right, be right, don't be in fear. Y'all can do what y'all want. It's freedom. Y'all could be like, man, the hell with what Brainwave's saying. I ain't trying to listen to him. I don't care nothing about that biblical stuff. I don't care nothing about following the Bible, trying to live right and do right. Because first and foremost, when you follow the Bible, you're under God's protection. First and foremost. Let me just break that down. You're under the Most High's protection when you follow the Bible. You have his protection. But when you don't operate by that, you on your own. You want to do what you want, not follow any. I mean, hey, you on your own. So then you're under your own to protect yourself and do whatever. And you may not have that type of protection. This is another reason why we got to avoid getting involved in a lot of certain activities, because it's bad enough that you could potentially be targeted. But then if you're targeted around certain people doing certain things, and if you're seen doing certain things, then that puts a target on your back. If you're in certain areas where certain people do certain things, that also puts a target on your back. I mean, we got to watch how we moving, period. This is what this argument is saying. We can't just continue to move and do everything the same way. We got to clean stuff up.
Say you're not criminals, yet you got grabbed up along with 9 of your buddies. Now what would happen is, let's say one of those 9 or 2.
And let me make something clear. You got the severance sacraments of hell talking about religious people are targeted too. Where did I say anything about religion? I said the Bible. Did I say a religion? No. I didn't say anything about religion. I said the Bible. You can follow the Bible and not be a part of any religion. You do understand that, right? You do know that is possible. You do know that there are tons of people out there all over the world that do that, and they're not a part of any religion. I don't even want to get into that. Stop twisting stuff in the chat. See, it'll be people like you that'll go that have a YouTube channel if you did, and then you be putting a video out spreading lies and misinformation, saying things that people didn't even say. Come on, man. Let's go.
Those 9 filed lawsuits. And the judge in those lawsuits said you got to bring those 2 people back. Well, what happens to you? Well, you can stay. Trump can keep you over there, although it's unlawful, because the judge cannot issue a nationwide injunction that covers the other 8 of you or 9 of you. So it would be unlawful, but it can be done because that nationwide injunction can't be used to help you. You say, well, then my family can file a lawsuit or we can do a class action lawsuit. You're right, you can. But you're already deported. And to get that class action lawsuit certified may take months, years maybe. To get your case in front of a judge may take much more time than you want to be spending somewhere. So this is not fear-mongering. I'm telling you where we are. She said no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. That also includes civil rights. The Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act, the Fair Housing Act. None of it, she says, is safe with what SCOTUS has given the Trump administration. Let's keep reading. Today, the threat is birthright citizenship. So she's trying to say that's the issue today, but tomorrow it could be deporting Black Americans or whatever. Tomorrow, a different administration may try to seize firearms from law-abiding citizens or prevent people of certain faiths from gathering to worship. She says the majority holds that, absent cumbersome class action litigation, courts cannot completely enjoin even such plainly unlawful policies unless doing so is necessary to afford the former parties complete relief. So she's saying that the majority allows Trump to do even what's unlawful because it took away from those judges the ability to stop Trump on a nationwide basis, even if what he's doing is unlawful. Now, if you're named in the lawsuit in court A, fine. Then you can get relief. You can get the remedy. But if you're not named in that lawsuit, you got to file your own. And if it's something that affects millions of people, those people got to either do a class action or all of them got to file lawsuits. Meanwhile, Trump's unlawful policy is still in effect. Because again, all that could take months or years. This is not fear-mongering. This is where we are. Justice Jackson, the African-American woman who's on the court, she said, make no mistake, today's ruling allows the executive to deny people rights, there's that word rights again, that the founders plainly wrote into our Constitution. And just like Justice Sotomayor, she said, so long as those individuals have not found a lawyer or asked the court in a particular manner to have their rights protected. And you're not in a situation, if you get deported or something, you're not in a situation to do or say anything. You sitting over in Sudan or something. And again, it doesn't matter that Trump incorrectly stated the law when he says that birthright citizenship applies only to the babies of slaves. And by the way, none of us are babies of slaves. Have you thought about that? None of us. No one living today is a baby of a slave. So technically, that really doesn't apply to any of us. If that is true, that birthright citizenship only applies to babies of slaves, none of us are citizens, not even white people. So you know that's an inaccurate statement. In the 14th Amendment itself, the citizenship clause literally says persons. Persons. Persons born in this country or nationalized and are subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So, again, I hope you understand now. This case was horrible. It went way beyond immigration. It went way beyond the Latino community. As you just read, I'm going to show it to you again. As you just read, Justice Sotomayor says no right is safe. And Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson says, make no mistake, today's rulings allows the executive to deny people rights that the founders plainly wrote into our Constitution. So if you're saying, I got the right not to be deported, that's no longer safe, folks, because of this case. So again, yes, African Americans can be deported. Even those who are descendants of enslaved Africans in this country. That's where we are. That's what we get for this nation re-electing Trump. And don't forget, and I won't let you forget, 2.5 million African Americans voted for his re-election. And millions more didn't even care to vote. So Project 2025 is in full effect. The GOP is backing everything he does. So neither branch of the government is doing anything to stop him. Congress? Nope. The courts? Nope. That's where we are. All right. I am Reverend and Civil Rights Attorney Augustus Corbett.
All right, so y'all can see that's the end. Now, some people are wondering, why did I even show that? Because I said this in the beginning. I'm going to show you 2 different perspectives from 2 different attorneys, right? I showed you a quote-unquote MAGA attorney, right-wing attorney, and now I showed you a quote-unquote Democratic attorney, left-wing. Like I said, I'm straight down the middle. I'm just showing you the perspectives. And when I show these perspectives, it does not necessarily mean that I agree with everything that I show or agree with anything that I show for that matter. I'm just literally reporting this and showing it to y'all so that y'all can see the perspective on both sides, because you have a lot of people that'll say one side, they only listen to one side, they only pay attention to one side, and they don't hear the narratives on the other side. So I'm allowing both sides of the fence to understand the conversation. Right? The only way we're going to understand anything is if we understand the conversation. Now, what I want y'all to understand is y'all don't need to live in fear. There's no point in us living in fear, right? God has not given us the spirit of fear. Okay? It's not. Let me make sure I have that on here so y'all can see that front and center. Okay, there's another video I want to show y'all if I could find it. You can see right here in 2 Timothy, right? Chapter 1, verse 7 says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So we don't need to be living in fear, thinking like, oh man, I'm afraid to go outside. I'm afraid to go to work. I'm afraid to go here. They're going to get me. They're going to get me. They're going to get me. That's not what this platform is about. I don't do that on this platform. Other platforms might do that, but I don't do that. Let me see if I can play something for y'all real quick. Let me get this to be pulled up. And again, I don't necessarily agree with any of these people that you're seeing on the screen unless I state that. I'm just showing you perspectives from different groups of people, different sides, so that y'all can take this and understand and move accordingly, right? So I want you to see something from someone that's a part of the Latino, Hispanic, Mexican, if you want to call it, community. This is someone coming from their community speaking on this. Watch this.
Community is the only community that has the power in this country to change anything. They are the only one with the experience of civil matter. They are the only one que tenían el esclavo ahí mismitico. They are the only one that are not going to get deported anywhere, and you cannot put them all in jail. So African American community, which is the community that is stepped on by Cubans, the most are the only ones that are going to save the Latinos. And I clap for the African American community that has not come out, because because it is not. I do. We didn't do shit for them.
I get it. I get it. But I don't.
Me and you support, but in masses, we didn't support anything that was going with them. Latinos look at Cubans specifically. I'm not gonna talk about any other community because I'm not part of that community, even though I'm a Latina with them. Cubans talk shit about African Americans.
It's true.
Cubans did not support African Americans. Cubans think that they all victimize themselves, of this, all of that. African Americans are the only ones that are going to save your asses, Latino. So you better start kissing. If you're going to kiss some ass in this country, you better kiss some black ass.
Now, I didn't say, yo, she wild. She wild. Listen, I didn't say that. This is what she said. Okay. This is, again, I'm just showing you what people are saying as it relates to this whole deportation situation, right? This is crazy, man. Like, listen, y'all. The point remains, we're in a wild situation, y'all. We're in a wild situation. I don't know. Hey, Rob DZ. Shout out to Rob DZ. He says these two are American. I mean, I don't know. I don't personally know. I can't. I don't know the stuff. Yeah, y'all says she's funny. Listen, it is what it is. I'm just saying there's a lot that's going on, and we got a lot of different groups of people, and we got a lot of situations. Listen, y'all, if y'all want to show some type of solidarity here in support for who you believe is an American, then we need to try to move legally. The problem is, for example, when things get passed, when laws get passed, there is no clapback from the citizens. So that tells people that, hey, it's fine, because think about it. If you do something and nobody's saying anything about it, you're telling them that you're in support of it and that you like what's being done. So if you're the type of citizen or potential citizen, what have you, and you don't like the way things are being done, then you're going to have to utilize whatever it is that you can, or whatever resources you can legally / politically or what have you, to get things changed or done or supported in your particular area. That's what this is all about. If you don't do that, then, I mean, hey, it ain't nothing going to be done. It's not going to change. We can't just sit back and point fingers and, turn a blind eye. Now, I want to talk about something. Speaking since I went down here, I want to show you about how a lot of black women have essentially mocked immigrants about what's going on. Let's take a look at that.
If you haven't already heard, the 92% of black women that voted for Kamala Harris, they're on vacation. They're taking a break. They're going to watch the world burn, right? Now, I want y'all to watch this short video of a sister who is sitting on a grassy hill watching all of the mayhem unfold. Check it out. So as you saw there, and the caption says, the 92% is taking a well-needed break or vacation or whatever it is. And she's watching the migrants protest. Of course, you guys know that President Donald Trump said once he got into office, he was going to go forward with his mass deportation plan. And he has. So, of course, we see a lot of people out there protesting because their mamas, their daddies, their grandmas, their grandpas, and everybody else are getting deported, right? And so they're taking to the streets with their flags saying, it's not right. We're pushing back. And so the sister is sitting there like, ordinarily, I guess we would be helping you. But since you guys didn't show up for Kamala, y'all decided to show up for Trump, we're just going to sit here and be pretty and watch it all unfold. And I'm like, you know what? There's two things here. I'm glad, again, that the 92% is taking a break from helping everybody else. But I hope that while they're taking a break, they're thinking about helping their own community, right? Because they're partially responsible for the migration situation being the way it is. And some of y'all probably saying, well, how so, Demetra? Because don't the black woman that votes for the Democrats say they're the backbone of the Democratic Party? And the Democrats say they're the backbone of the Democrat Party. If it wasn't for black women, we wouldn't be where we are, right? So I think we got to concede that a little bit. So because you're the backbone of the Democratic Party, you've allowed Kamala and Biden, when they were in office, to open up those borders and let everybody else in, tell them yes while they were telling your people no. So I'm glad that you're sitting down and you're not helping anybody else. But yeah, come help your people, because remember, they told your people no. They told your people, no, I'm not going to do something that just benefits black people. No. Right? And that benefit was a check. She being Kamala Harris, asked about reparations. She's like, no. But y'all still went 92% and voted for her, even though she told you no, and she was going to continue doing what you were sitting there watching them protest against.
You know, I want to say something about this comment. Janice says, do they know illegals can't vote? I mean, remember the whole narrative that was coming out saying that the Democratic Party was getting a bunch of illegal migrants that was voting to try to sway the elections. Remember, that was the narrative. We got to go back and think about what took place during the elections. This was a big conversation. This was a big conversation then. It's crazy. So, like, to Janet's comment, I mean, yeah, they're not supposed to be able to vote, but did they actually vote? Did this take place? Again, these were questions and a lot of things that was brought up and said back during the election period. It's crazy, man. This is crazy. It's a lot going on, y'all. See, what we're seeing now is a situation of things that have been going on prior to where we are today. It's just that things have escalated to this point to where, what's up, Boss Nini? Things have to be done. But anyway, let me continue to play the rest of this because I've already started here. So let me finish playing the rest of this video.
She was going to continue on with mass migration coming into America, as your community were going to continually being the most underserved. So hopefully while you're resting and getting a break from it all, you're organizing and saying, how can we uplift the black community? And I know a lot of y'all are still mad at black men, but for what? They voted right behind y'all for the most for Kamala. So I don't know why you're mad at black men, but hopefully y'all thinking about getting together with black men and making it do what it do. Now, all the other immigrants, they gonna be all right. I promise you. But you sitting there thumbing your nose at them, I guess it's cute in theory, but what is it really accomplishing? Nothing. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful comments.
Okay, so that's it with that video. Let me see if I can show y'all a couple of other things. It's a couple things. And like I said, we're just looking at the perspectives here. You know, this is... I don't know if I want to look at this. Let's take a look at this, man. Let's take a look at this. Because again, the reason why I'm showing you all this stuff is because these are platforms that you're gonna see. These are so-called content creators. These are so-called YouTubers, YouTube ops that are putting videos out that confuse people into thinking that it's all doom and gloom and put people in fear. Let's look at this.
Folks, we've talked about, of course, these deportations. It's impacted Jamaica. The Jamaica's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that about 2,500 Jamaicans are set to be deported from the U.S. She spoke at a news conference at the office of the Prime Minister. Johnson-Smith dismissed reports claiming that 4,000 Jamaicans will be returned to the island as part of Trump's immigration crackdown.
So you hear the conversations about Jamaicans. As I mentioned, there's a conversation about Haitians. And again, as we heard about the very first attorney, Andrew, right? There was a breakdown on who is considered a full-fledged U.S. citizen. Not a partial, not some type of loophole. The conversation was a full-fledged U.S. citizen who does not have any allegiance and loyalty to another country or another group that has been in conflict, or not even whether they've been in conflict, just another group that they got loyalty to. Like, for example, if you're trying to vet somebody in, you can't vet somebody in if they got loyalty to, let's say, the opposition or another particular area. Then when it comes down to certain questions, certain things, they could say, I ain't doing that. They might, quote unquote, be here or work for your company, but then they're like, well, no, I'm not doing that because I got loyalty over here. Yeah, I'm over here, but I got loyalty over there. When it comes down to this particular issue or these particular issues, yeah, I'm going to stay loyal to my other country. or my other particular job in that situation or what have you. Those are issues. Those are risks. Those are security risks. Those are a lot of situations and questions. And then if anybody's caught up engaging in that, it just make the situation look worse. That's why I'm saying we got to make sure we moving right. Shout out to Boss Nini for the $4.99 super chat sticker. I thank you very much for that. I thank you very much for that. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat sticker. I appreciate that very much. Okay, listen. There's there's a lot of people that just now joined me at the end of this show. So y'all are hearing me talk about things and you not understanding the whole breakdown that took place an hour and 38 minutes ago. So the point that I'm trying to make is that a lot of people that may have just joined this particular live stream has no idea what I'm talking about. And those of you that have been here, you know what I'm referencing and what I'm talking about and what it means as to what I'm saying here. This is the particular issue here because, again, you got the conversation here. Well, okay, Jamaicans. Well, they're not fully American. You see what I'm saying? Well, they're Jamaican. Like I said, Haitian. This has been taking place in New York just yesterday. ICE tried to pull up and deport a couple of Haitians or what have you. A lot of this is taking place. Like I said, this is literally going in real time. And then you got some content creators to make matters worse who talk about foundational Black American, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard the term FBA or foundational Black American. Put a 1 in the chat. And make sure y'all double tap the screen as well. I'm going to show you something about that. You got some so-called YouTube content creators who claim they don't even rep. They claim they FBA. They don't even rep and support what they call a tether, right? Which is somebody that's from another, like you're let's say you're Jamaican, you're Haitian, you're Caribbean, you're Panamanian. You get the point that I'm making, but you're Black, right? Your skin is Black, to make a long story short, but you're from the islands or you're from some other area. They consider you a tether. And you got some of these YouTube content creators who literally clap on tethers. They bash tethers. They put tethers down. But now that it's trending on social media and it gets a lot of likes, clicks, and views to be like, hey, I'm pro, quote unquote, I don't want to say the word tether because to me, that's a disrespectful term. That ain't a term I came up with. That comes from the whole FBA community. And I'm seeing ones in the chat. So y'all understand what's being said, right? And listen, anybody trolling here talking about I should be deported, y'all shut the hell up. Y'all stupid because I'm as natural American as it gets. Born and raised, parents born and raised, family, generation after generation. Y'all can stop the crap. I'm probably more American than some of y'all that sitting up here in the chat. So just stop the crap. Ain't no damn deporting. Where the hell am I going to go when I'm from here? When my ancestors are from here? When I even got slave ancestors that are from here? That was brought, like, listen, y'all stop the trolling. Listen, I'm just as American gets when it comes to the matter. If you want to talk about me personally, but this is not about me personally. So the thing is, you have people, you got, what's up, Terrell Moses? He says, no, a tether is a foreigner that undermines our efforts. But see, this is what I'm trying to say. Terrell, just like you have, and I understand what you're saying, Terrell. Like, I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to make a point. You have people who claim they FBA, but some of them got what would be considered a tether girlfriend, a tether baby mama, or it's the other way around, baby daddy. Some of them literally have children with tethers, but then they claim that they full FBA by definition. This is what they claim. And then you have people that stereotype. Just like we're hearing about racial profiling right now, it seems like Hispanic people are being profiled. Welcome to America. I mean, I done been through it. We done been through it. Welcome to racial profiling. If you Black in America, you've experienced it. Welcome to our world. This is how it works. What I'm saying is that you got people that claim they FBA, but yet they are racially profiling anybody that they call them a tether just because they're from Jamaica, or just because they're Panamanian, or just because they're Haitian or Caribbean or what have you, right? African, whatever it is. They automatically stereotype them. Is that not what people are saying that's taking place under the Trump administration? You got some particular arguments right now in the live chat, and they're saying that there are groups of individuals right now being profiled just because they look like, or just because they're in those communities, or just because they hang out. I'm just saying that's what some people are saying. So when I play all these things, like, and this is not to Terrell, this Terrell, we good, right? This is not to you personally, but and again, I agree with you. So here's another point before I continue the video. Terrell says they don't speak for all of FBA. I agree with you. However, I have a call to all FBA. What we need to do is clean up. See, while we on the conversation of cleaning things up and what needs to be fixed and what needs to be done, this is a part that is on all FBA. Listen, me personally, I don't rock with FBA, but I would be considered FBA all day, every day. All day, every day, straight up FBA, right? But I don't rock with FBA. I don't rock with any of these groups. I'm not saying I'm against these groups, but I don't rock with them. I do what I do. What I'm saying is that I have personally held some of these content creators on YouTube accountable and have personally called them out by name that's spreading misinformation about FBA, about calling people tethers. And what I'm saying is that if somebody is FBA, if you are FBA, your job is to do the same, to hold them accountable. That is your job. If you're a part of a certain group or organization, then your job is to toss out the folks. This is the same thing. You got FBA migrants. You got people that are trying to infiltrate and pose as FBA, but they're not loyal to FBA. The same thing that I was saying about how it relates to being a full citizen and not having loyalty to another country, to your parents that are part of another country, that whole part that we talked about earlier, the same thing applies to FBA. You got some people that got what would be considered a tether girlfriend, a tether baby mama, or what have you, but yet they on YouTube making videos saying that they FBA. They telling brothers to leave the FBA community, for example. They've got videos on their channel right now, as I'm speaking right now, telling you, hey, black men, leave all the black women alone. Go get you a white woman. Go get you a woman of another community, right? But then they saying they full-fledged FBA. And then they want to try to backtrack now and try to make it seem like, oh, well, I never said that. But yet they got videos and live streams up on their channel. Hypocrites, man. This is the type of crap that I'm talking about. And they don't want to own it. It's one thing if they said it. It's like, hey, my bad. I was wrong about it. I own it. Boom, move on, right? So this is what this is about. So anybody that's FBA need to be holding these people accountable because they're spreading misinformation. Let me go ahead and play the video because I need to get to that because people are waiting to see this video as well. Make sure you double tap the screen when you come in.
Allow me to be clear that 4,000 Jamaicans are not being returned now. For some time, it has been in the public domain that the U.S. authorities had close to 4,000 persons in their records with final orders for deportation against their names. It is now our understanding that approximately 2,500 have been confirmed for removal over a period of time. To be determined by logistics, their own legal processes, and other factors.
She emphasized that deportations are not a new development and reaffirms the government's commitment to upholding its international obligations while ensuring national security and public safety. She also noted that the government has expanded the national reintegration and rehabilitation strategy to better coordinate support services for returning deportees. We made this clear that he don't want black people here, Andrew. Let's just be real clear.
Yeah, and as a first generation Jamaican myself, my family, my entire family immigrated here from Jamaica to New York, to Delaware.
And let me just say this: what this guy here on the screen is saying, his entire family, I guess Andrew Clark, whatever, this attorney, he said his entire family immigrated there, right? So again, though his entire family immigrated there, even though he's here and he's black, he would be considered an immigrant, technically speaking. So when we hear the rhetoric or terms or speeches, whatever terminology you want to call it, coming from the Trump administration or Trump himself as it relates to migrants, these are the individuals that he's talking about, right? He's not talking about all citizens. He's talking about people that are here. And I know America is a cesspool, and I know that's what happened, but we have to understand what he's saying and what's going on right now. This is what we got to listen to right now. This is what it is. If whether you're for this or against this, we got to listen to what's being said right now. So again, technically, this attorney here would be considered an immigrant based upon what he just said. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen to what Terrell Moses said. He says Roland Martin is a perfect example of a tether. I'm playing all of this for a reason so that y'all can see and understand what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You got folks that look like us, meaning if you're black, they look black, but it doesn't mean that they're actually supporting the black agenda. And their job is to create fear, say a lot of stuff that may not necessarily be true. And again, the big part of it's fear. It's faith. Listen, we're supposed to be in faith over fear, but they got us in fear over faith. Right? This is crazy. So it's like they're putting out this misinformation into making you believe that just because you're black, you're automatically going to get deported. Listen, it's deeper than that. You can't just say if you're black, you're going to get deported. If you're white, you're going to get deported. If you're green, you're going to get deported. If you're purple, you're going to get deported. Listen, you have to go into detail on specifically who is being targeted, who is being deported. What's the goal of this? You got a lot of people that are here in this country that have goals and have agendas that go against the goals and the agenda of this country. And if you're going against the goals of an agenda of the country, you got to go. If you don't like it, there's other countries. It's just like if you work at a company. If you work at a particular company and that company has goals, it has agendas, it has a culture, it has rules, it has everything. You've got to follow the rules of that particular company. Unless you're going through the proper channels to try to change it while you're there, you either go through those proper channels, try to change anything or implement anything while you're at that company. And then if those things get implemented, then hey, congratulations. You can enjoy what's been implemented. Otherwise, you either got to do it or you quit or you leave. And that's essentially what's going on here. So if anybody has a problem with what's going on, then they need to get involved to try to change it. If they have a problem, if you don't have a problem with it, hey, rock on. Do what you do. Work on, like the example I gave with a company. It is what it is. We either got to choose it or we leave. Listen, y'all, if we go to any other country on the face of the planet, the same applies. You can't be in another country thinking you're going to change and undermine what that country's about. If you're undermining what that country's about, you're going to be out. Why do we act like only America's doing this when you can't go to most other countries? I'm not talking about some exception to the rules, something crazy going on and everything's falling apart. I'm talking about any country that's got their government and their system intact. They're not being overran right now, taken over by another country or anything like that. They're going to require every person there to have the best interest of what's going on and to not be in conflict. And that means you got to follow all proper channels. You got to be checked, vetted. The same thing on our jobs. The same thing when you go to school. Listen, you can't just enroll a child in a school and not have certain papers and certain things on them. Children have to have a certain level of approval and legitimacy before they can become enrolled in that school system. I think, or that school or whatever, if it's private school, whatever. They'll be gone. They'll be kicked out. Same thing on your job. You can't just get hired on your job without having the right credentials and going through. I mean, I know people do that, and there's certain positions that break the law, and they have illegal, individuals working it. I'm not talking about that. That's not correct. I'm talking about what's supposed to be done. So it's no different when we're talking about this particular situation. And just like we heard earlier, there could be people here that's on expired visas. They're here only temporary to perhaps maybe go to school or some project, and then maybe that time frame is up. And maybe they just still riding on it, just like people be riding dirty on expired driver's license. Think about how many people here in the United States right now, they got an expired driver's license and they out there driving, or suspended driver's license and they're driving. They riding dirty. Better catch me riding dirty. Gonna catch me riding dirty. They trolling, they hating, patrolling, trying to catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me riding dirty. Come on, y'all know how it goes. How many people out here got insurance that's expired, or they don't have insurance? How many people got tags that aren't legit and they just out and about? For example, what's gonna happen if they get caught up in a situation? It's gonna make matters worse. What happens if they're at the wrong place at the wrong time? I'm just giving an example of how this stuff works. This is why we just gotta make sure we got our ducks in the row and we move accordingly. And we not out here breaking laws. I'm just saying, listen, a lot of us been there. Waco says, I've been there. A lot of us been there. Something expired. Maybe we forgot about it. We didn't realize it. Janice says she got an expired driver's license right now. I'm just saying, these are situations that a lot of people get caught up in, and then ICE get wind on this, and then they move in. And then all we seeing is that, oh, it's just unfair. They're coming to get them. Why are they coming to get a certain specific individual or a specific set of individuals and not coming to get everybody? Y'all got to stop and think about it. If it's supposed to be so many people that's here, that's illegal. And I'm not saying that eventually they might not get around to it. Why is it that it's specific? A lot of times they got specific information on who's riding dirty. Listen, everybody around us ain't legit. Y'all be thinking that everybody's legit. They don't have stolen cars. Y'all be seeing some of your neighbors pull up. Y'all thinking that they bought that car. Sometimes the car might be stolen. You don't know. It be hustles. We see this stuff happen all the time on the news. I'm just giving y'all examples of where you might think that somebody that's here is a legit citizen, but they not. You don't know what's going on. I mean, unless you specifically know about that particular situation and you got the proof, the evidence, and the receipts on that. Just like I don't know about every situation. None of us know. But perhaps, maybe ICE actually knows about certain people in particular. I'm just saying that is a possibility. And I'm not saying that in the midst of that, there isn't any errors, because people do make errors. There are mistakes. And I'm not saying that there aren't anybody that in the midst of this gets caught up in the system. This is why I'm saying we got to make sure we are as legit as possible so that the likelihood of getting caught up is very least likely. Well, let me continue to play this video. Again, I don't listen, y'all. When I play these videos, let me state this. I do not necessarily agree with any of the talking points in these videos or the individuals. I'm just showing you the content because it's a part of the conversation.
To Georgia as well. So now here, that these deportations have been happening and it's been kind of swept under the rug until it made national news for a while now. It's disheartening because the island is really not that big. So if they're deporting 2,500 people back to Jamaica, even if it's on a yearly basis, that's still a lot of people that are coming here looking for some kind of freedom and then being sent back to an island where their living conditions were not great. This brings me back to the entire thing that's happening with South American citizens as well. Because as Jamaicans and my family as well, the accents, they don't leave. So if you're now targeting certain subsets like Jamaican or El Salvadorian You're going to be able to tell just by listening to a Jamaican who a Jamaican is. There's certain things that would say like washcloth. There's certain things that would say like wash rags. That's going to be able to identify us. And I don't want my Jamaican massive to be scared to now go and leave their homes, because if they feel like they're going to be pulled over by police, now that's going to create an even more dangerous situation for them. So,
but what's crazy about this is, like I said earlier, me being black, I done been racial profiled. Damn near everybody that's black and had an experience where they've been racially profiled, unfair to do stuff. Listen, we still went to work. We still came out. We still had to eat. We still had to travel. We still had to do stuff. Welcome to America. Y'all want to be here? Listen, just because you escape the atrocities that have taken place in your country or wherever a particular area you're coming from doesn't mean that it's all peaches and cream here in America. You're just leaving one set of scenarios to come here to another set of scenarios. I mean, this is what people got to understand, man. Just because you leave something as bad as this particular attorney says, I get what this attorney's saying. I understand it. I hear it. The point that I'm making is it doesn't mean that it's all peaches and cream. And like I said, we went through it, and we're supposed to be considered citizens according to the 14th Amendment and other narratives. So if we went through it and we're going through it still to this day in certain areas, conversations I want to bring up in because that'll turn into an entire different live stream. What makes you think that it's going to be any different from you? And if it is different from you, how is that fair to full-blown citizens of the United States that didn't get that type of treatment? You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to make points here, and I'm trying to bring up talking points that you're not going to get excluded of certain things that take place. Come into a country. See, man, I'm telling you, man. Listen, man, it's a lot that people. Yeah, Rain in Zion said it right. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Waco says facts. Etc. says it's the level of disrespect coming from the illegal migrants. They get me. Listen, a lot of folks, a lot of the migrants. Listen, here's a fact. Here's a fact. And again, this does not stand for every single individual. So I don't want to hear somebody come in the chat say, well, I'm this and I didn't do it. I never said every single individual. But there is a fact that there have been a good number of individuals that would be considered migrants. They came from another island, another country, another region. They came here. They might be black or whatever. And they looked at us like we was crazy when we was going through stuff. They thought that they were above us. They thought that they were better than us because they didn't go through the atrocities that we went through here in America. There's atrocities that we went through right here in America. Hell, the transatlantic trade slave, for an example, and everything therein and everything that came afterwards. Y'all just now coming into the country, experiencing and getting a taste and seeing what's going on in America. Like I'm saying, welcome to America. This is how it is. And if you want to be here, you got to move a certain way. I got to move a certain way. Everybody got to move a certain way. We're Americans. This is how we got to move. If you felt like you're a migrant and you've been lied to, you've been duped, if that's what you believe and you felt, welcome to America. It's one of the ways we get down in America. You got to understand that. That's what, listen, it's so much with America. You have people that will tell you there's a lot of things that did take place in history and a lot of things that did not take place in history. Welcome to America. And then you have different groups of people here in America that say we shouldn't even learn and understand and know what took place here in our history. You have groups of people say that, nope, that's not a part of our history. Nope, we don't need to teach it in our schools. We don't need to know it. We don't need to learn it. You don't need to see it. Let's erase it. Let's get rid of it. Welcome to America. Now people believe that it's unfair. Now I want to pose a question. If you're a migrant and you came from the atrocities of whatever country, you came here with the sole or primary reason to escape the atrocities of wherever you came from, right? Do you believe that it's any better right now? Right now in 2025, July 5th, 2025, do you believe that it's any better? Do you feel any safer being here? I mean, I'm just saying, Dan has the point. Dan says, immigrate legally. Welcome to New America, brother or sister. Immigrate illegally, I'll treat you like an invader. Listen, you cannot go to any other country for the most part in the world that's not, again, under some type of regime that's taken, like the people are taking over the government. They're at war or some conflict, they're being taken over. I'm not talking about that. Any structured country in the world, listen, if I want to become a citizen of any other country in the world, I got to do whatever the hell they tell me to do, whether I like it or not. I'm going to have to do everything and play by the book. I can't get caught up. I better not get caught slipping. I better learn the culture. I better learn the ways. I better learn how to speak, how to move, how to think. I better figure this out real quick. I can't just come up in that country and be like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want. Whatever, I'm going to remix it. I'm going to change it. And then when stuff start coming down the line or people have a problem with it, I showed y'all, again, what other countries operate culturally, economically, especially culture. They don't want their culture to be changed. Listen, welcome to the deep-rooted issues in America. Congratulations. You have now discovered some deep-rooted issues in America. You have now understood a little bit about the history of America. Congratulations. Congratulations. Matt Rash says, but do you understand that most immigrants that are being deported are here legally? Correct. No, that's not true. That's not true. Most of the immigrants that are being deported are not here legally. I really hope you understand that. For anyone to believe that most of the immigrants that are being deported, they're not here legally. Okay? Yeah, Flock 53. Matt, that's a lie. What's your source? That's not true. Listen, y'all, a lot of people that you might think is legit ain't legit. Listen, you might look at your neighbor and be like, oh, my neighbor's legit. They live in a house right next door or 2 doors down. Yeah, that's their house and car. And the next thing you know, you watch the 5 o'clock news and see that your neighbor was running some drug ring or prostitution ring or stealing or something. You're like, not John Doe, not Jane Doe. I didn't know that. Now, I want to break something down. Lady G says most of them aren't criminal. They overstayed their visa, which means that they are criminal, Lady G, because, listen, you don't have to break into a car or steal something to be considered criminal. If you're overstaying your visa and you don't have the proper paperwork, this is what one of the attorneys brought up, that makes you illegal. You're breaking the law. You're not supposed to be here. Listen, if somebody overstays, if they're supposed to vacate a premises, right? Listen, y'all, if you're renting a place and you're supposed to get out and you're supposed to move out and you say, I ain't going nowhere. And it's after the time that they gave you a move out, after the 30 days, for example, and you still there, you're breaking the law. You could be like, no, I'm not breaking the law. I didn't do nothing. I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here. Just like there's a lot of people that are just sitting here in the country. I'm trying to get y'all to understand this. You don't have to go out there and rob and steal, go blast people. If there's so many things. Listen, if you go to any other country on the face of the planet and you overstay the time that they tell you you're supposed to be there and you get caught, they're going to throw you in jail. They're going to throw you in jail. And there's a lot of people that are in that particular situation. There's a lot of people. I'm trying to explain the dirty, hardcore, hard pill to swallow situation about what's going on. And for those that are just now coming here to the platform, Y'all missed almost 2 hours worth of information, legally speaking, from attorneys regarding due process. So everybody's saying due process, due process, due process. Y'all got to understand certain things. I had even pulled this up. Let me see if I can get this back. Let's see if I can show this real quick. I had the actual, I don't feel like going back, pulling this up. I had the actual information from the several of the websites here, and I have to go back and pull that up, and I don't really feel like getting into that. Let me see if I can show you this real quick. Let's see if I can get this on the screen. One thing I want people to understand, if you look at the top of the screen right here, you see here that it says, important note, while undocumented immigrants have the right to due process, the specifics of how it's applied can vary. It can vary, y'all. This is what I want you to understand. The specifics of how due process is applied can vary depending on individual circumstances and status. For example, the extent of due process protections may depend on whether the alien has been lawfully admitted or developed ties to the United States. Listen, you got people that's in the country here. This is a big situation, again, whether you're for it or against it. And I'm only talking about the law. I'm not talking about my personal feelings like, oh, I believe they wrong and this and this and that. What I'm trying to explain to you is that you may not have ties to the U.S. You may have ties to the other country that you came from or island that you came from. Why? Because of your parents, or because your status, you're still considered a citizen there while you're here temporarily trying to gain citizenship, for example. But you haven't gone through that process, or you're on an expired visa and your visa's been expired for like 3 years, for example. For 3 years, for an example. I'm just trying to give scenarios. These are real scenarios. There's a lot of people that's here that's not legit. And then they didn't even enter the country legit. Because don't you think if you came into this country legit, you got to go through border control and they would know who you are. And then you would be good. But there's a lot of people that have entered the country illegally and then tried to gain legal status. I'm just saying, there's people that have entered the country illegally and then they're trying to gain legal status. There is a crap ton full of people. Yes, I said crap ton. Let me ask you this. Matt Rash, can you prove, where is your source? I'll put it on the screen right now. I'll show the video and I'll put it on the screen right now. Oftentimes what I do on my channel, y'all, I allow people to actually prove what they say. Where's the source? Where are the records? Where are the documentation? Where's the video? Where's the testimony from the individual or individuals or group or whatever saying that they have been deporting legit people? Because like I said, you might think because they work in a particular store that they're automatically legit, when a lot of times people aren't legit. Like I gave the example, you got people riding dirty right now, their driver's license suspended. Just because they had a driver's license don't mean that during the time that it's suspended, if it's not renewed, that they legit. Same thing, you got people with insurance that has lapsed on their cars. Their car insurance is lapsed, or they don't even have car insurance, but yet they out here on the road, they driving every day, and you thinking they legit just because they have a car. Those are some of the small examples that I'm trying to explain as it relates to this migrant situation. There's a lot of people that's not legit, have not finalized their process. Listen, y'all, I know people that have moved from one state to another state, and they be like, yeah, I ain't switching my license over. They still got their driver's license in that other state, and they live in here. It ain't like they're going back and forth. They'll go back to the state where they came from just to visit every once in a while. They live in whatever state they in. They ain't changed their driver's license over. They still got an out-of-state driver's license. So what does that mean? They're showing loyalty to their other state. Now, I know we're talking about the United States of America and it's all supposed to be one. I'm just making a point. They have not agreed to change their driver's license over to the state that they live in. They got a house in this new state. They work in the new state. They doing everything, and they still haven't changed their driver's license over. Or their ID, for that matter, if they don't drive. They still got their ID or driver's license in another state. There's so many people that do little things like that, which means that you're still trying to follow everything that goes on in that state. Now, there's legal ways that you can capitalize on what goes on in the state that you came from, as well as the state that you're currently in. But people don't be doing that. And then they want to get mad if they get caught up or they get in trouble. I'm just saying, man, like, listen, we need documentation. Yeah, Scott is right. Scott Pearson says, follow the law and you'll be good. We need to do what we need to do legally. It does not matter what type of so-called, you got people like, oh, they deported a 2-year-old citizen. That's because you got people that are illegally entering the country, and then they're trying to have children in the country, and say that, oh, well, now that I had my John Doe or my Jane Doe or my children in this country, that they're automatically citizens. But they illegally entered the country. They're literally breaking the law to get here and then try to claim that they're law-abiding. I'm telling you, man, it's so much to this. Let me just play this video.
I would like to, definitely hear more about who is being deported and what kind of legal process is being followed, because what we know about this administration is that they don't care anything about the rule of law.
Zachary?
They're ignoring the courts. They are ignoring court orders to cease and desist with what they're doing and go through the appropriate and proper channels that have been created by our government to protect all American citizens. So they're ignoring that, and there's no consequence being faced to it. So I'm horrified for my friends that are first generation, who are born in the United States, but who may have an accent or who may look a certain way or who may live in a particular community. When we saw immediately upon Donald Trump becoming the 47th president of the United States, the mass deportations of our brown brothers and sisters, I knew that it was only a matter of time before this would creep out to impact our brothers and sisters of the African diaspora, and it would then come hard and heavy against those communities. And then we start with our brown brothers. Then we're going to go to our black brothers and sisters of the diaspora. Then they're going to come for us. And we are the ultimate target all along. And we need more black people to see that. I also wish that more black people, more of your watchers, more of your viewers would understand the interconnected nature of the black dollar and the black economy, which has been a big focus of this show in regards to our brothers and sisters who are Jamaican. All of our businesses, we are all interdependent on each other. I eat at a Jamaican restaurant at least once a week. I eat at a Jamaican restaurant once a week. I use my black dollar to support those black businesses so they can feed their black families too. We're all interconnected. What's happening to them is also happening to us, and we have to fight against it now to protect and save them so we can protect and save ourselves.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III.
Okay, so I guess there's some ad. I don't know if he's switching. Oh, okay, yeah. That's it with that. I ain't playing that. Listen, welcome to America. Free America says that is literally the definition of the American history. Again, welcome to America. Listen, nobody said that America's perfect. Nobody said that all of our laws and all of our rules and everything is perfect. We have issues. We have things to work out. But again, the law is the law. And listen, this ain't the first time that America has been dealing with a large group of citizens and people being disparaged and going through stuff. Like I said, just look at what happened to the Indians. Okay, you could look at the Indians. You could look at what happened to us, a part of the transatlantic trade slave. There's a lot that's going on that's been taking place right here in America. And it's a lot that we had to fight through and suffer through to become considered a citizen. And now you have migrants that just now came over to America for a few years. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. I don't care what the time frame is. I'm trying to make a point here. The point is, it ain't been as long as some other citizens that we've been dealing with, like those that are part of the transatlantic trade slave. For example, like I gave with the Indians, we've been dealing with this stuff way longer, going through centuries, decade or centuries or whatever it is, whatever type of time frame, way longer. It took all that time to be considered a citizen, to have a right to vote, to have a right to this, to have a right to that. Guess what? If you're coming from another country and you have another background, perhaps you may have to go through that same type of struggle. It may take you that amount of time, maybe more, maybe less. We don't know. But you're going to have to go through struggles. You're going to have to fight in order to get through. Listen, while people are over here worried about being deported, while we on this conversation, oh God, they're getting deported. You got people that are literally killed. When you talk about the transatlantic trade slave, for example, we had people that died in Africa, died on the boat on the way here, and then people getting whipped, put in slavery, all types of stuff that died here in America. You want to talk about somebody who went through it? You want to talk about we got separated from our families. I'm trying to make a point here. We were separated from our moms and our dads and our brothers and sisters. We got taken to one plantation. We got bought here, bought there, never to be seen again. I'm just saying, there's a lot that has already taken place in America. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Y'all want to come here? Y'all want to be a part of America? Welcome to the America. This is how it is. Right? This is how it is. And these are the things that we got to address. These are the things we got to face. I could go deeper, but if I start talking about certain things or here on YouTube or on social media, boom, they'll shut you down. They'll shut your channel down. So I can't go into as deep as I want to go into it. But I'm just making a point. What we need to do is we don't need to live in fear. Listen, y'all, if there's a time where you need to move right, now's the time to move right. If there's a time to band together, now is the time to band together. If you believe that your particular ethnicity or what have you is being targeted, and if that's how you actually feel and what you believe, then you need to stand up and do what you can. Protesting ain't enough. Listen, y'all, protesting, it's not going to change anything. We're wasting our time protesting for the most part without accompanying other things. We need to get involved as much as we can legally. We need to apply legal pressure. We need to get involved politically, apply political pressure, whatever pressures you believe that needs to be applied that are legal. I'm not talking about illegal pressure. If that's what you believe that you are being targeted, you don't think that when black folks that were born and raised here come from slave lineage and all of that, you don't think that when we were racially profiled, when it was unfair, listen, cops were just flat out unaliving us in the street. I'm just trying to give y'all an example of the severity. At least with the deportations, you just see them take somebody, snatch them up. I'm not saying necessarily that it's right, but you see them getting picked up and they're getting sent back and they got a chance. We were getting unalive right here on American soil. We was getting hung. We was getting unalive. We was getting chased and all types of situations right here on American soil. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. I'm just saying. So if we've been through it, what makes anybody else think it's going to be any different? Just because you escaping something going on and you come here, it's supposed to be different? You in our house now. And now people are learning a lesson like, oh, this is what America's about? Yes. It's just like if you're going to go work for a job, right? A lot of y'all want to go work for a job. You want to fill a job application out and you like, hey, I want to go work for this job. You need to learn what goes on at that job. You need to ask questions. You need to do some research. See how that job operates. See what the culture is. You need to figure it out. You don't just go apply for a job just because you think it's better. Or you go get a car just because you think it's better and you didn't research the maintenance or research the type of, oh, I didn't know this was a gas drinking high performance sports car. I just thought it was a nice car. I just looked at it. Oh, I didn't know this car required maintenance like this. I didn't know this car had electrical issues or what have you. I thought just because it was a Mercedes, it's legit. For an example, you didn't do your research into what it requires. There's a lot of people that are trying to escape here to America or that have escaped here to America and they didn't do their research on it. They just figure, well, hey, it's better than when I came from. Okay, well, it's better than where you came from. I'm saying, welcome to America. Nobody said we don't have issues here. Telling you, man, we got a situation on here. We need to do what we need to do. We need to focus. If we believe it's wrong, then we need to do it. I mean, Maggie B has a point. She says the division is done at this point. Magpie says, whose morality do we demand on an entire country? I mean, at this point, the only morality that I could actually say is we got to rely on God at this point. Listen, God is the only one that's going to end up saving you or getting you out of a situation. You're looking for the government to save you. You're looking for your ethnicity to save you. People are looking for certain things in certain groups. Maybe a law is going to get passed to save you. At this point, only God can save you. This is why I be trying to tell people, here's an opportunity to rep God. Yeah, etc.'s right. Listen, you got migrants here, and I'm not saying it's not an issue, but you got migrants here that's saying, oh, we getting deported. They're taking, I was working and they just came and got me and they taking me away. Listen, we were getting sprayed with fire hoses, dog attacks. Like, right here in America. Welcome to America. And then you had other groups of people and ethnicities that was okay with this, who let this fly. These were the laws of the land back then. Welcome to America. It was okay for a police officer or for somebody white to hose a black kid down or to hang them or go do something. Welcome to America. You got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. I understand they don't want you to know about the history. I understand they trying to take that out of schools and take this out places, and some people are for that, some people are against it. So you might not be aware of it. But like I said, you got to do your research. Look, y'all, I'm not about to say I want to become a citizen of another country, and I'm not going to sit up there and do my research on how they get down and how they've gotten down over the years and how they treat certain people and how this goes on there. Listen, man, you got to do all of that research. It's a real conversation I'm having here. And it's like now, because of what's taking place, a lot of migrants here now are becoming aware of what's going on with America. Like I said, welcome to America. Welcome to the world. You thought only your country was bad? You thought only your situations was bad in your island or wherever you fled to? You thought it was all peaches and cream and all rose-colored glasses and all them sayings that people have? Welcome to America, man. Welcome to America, ma'am. Welcome to America, sir. And if you want to be here, this is how it is. I'm just saying, it's a tough pill to swallow. Tough pill to swallow. This is a hard pill to swallow, a hard conversation we having, but we keep it 100 on my platform. 100. We talk about the tough things here at Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC. Why? So that we can have awareness of them. My job is to get you to think. All of a sudden, people are thinking about this, whether you for this or against it. It's like, I'm thinking about this. Wow, maybe I need to go make a change, or maybe I need to do this, or wow, I didn't even realize this. Hey, this is what this is about, for us to think about it and then move accordingly. I'm just saying. And at the end of the day, we got to rely on God at this point. The way things are, only God can fix this particular situation. Come on now. Only God can fix this particular situation. I'm just saying. So, hey, I brought up what's going on. I've showed different perspectives. I showed where we are. And we're going to talk about this more. But best believe we're going to see an increase. Like I said, it started with the Latino community. And now it's in the black community. Right? What it took like a month, maybe two, took what, let's say maybe a couple of months at the most to say that it went into the it's been going on with the Latino community, like the push. So maybe now for the next couple of months, you're going to see it in the black community. And then after that, maybe you'll see the push in the Asian community. And then maybe after that, you'll see the push in the white community or whatever it is. But the point stands, one thing, regardless of your ethnicity, that has been said, if you're here in this country illegally, if you're involved in any type of crimes, listen, crime don't mean I'm breaking windows and stealing stuff. If you're in the country and you don't have paperwork, I don't care if you're trying to seek it. Listen, if your driver's license is expired and you're driving, even if you're driving on your way to the courthouse or to the DMV, guess what? You're driving illegally. If the cops pick you up or you get pulled over on your way to the courthouse to renew your driver's license, guess what? You're going to get arrested or what have you. So if there's people in the country right now that have expired this or they haven't legitimized that or they're in the middle of the process, during that time frame, even though they're going through the process, I know this is a tough pill to swallow. They're not legal. It's not legit. They're going through the process. And I know what the process is supposed to do, but I'm just trying to make it clear, y'all. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Yeah, Christina's right. Trump is getting rid of all nationalities. So it ain't just black people. It ain't just Latino people. It's going to be everybody. It's just a matter of time. They're getting rid of crime. They're getting rid of a whole lot of stuff. Listen, everything is changing. We got to change up how we move. A lot of people think this is a game. A lot of people are like, I ain't got to do right. I ain't got to talk right. I ain't got to move right. Hey, if there's a time to do it, you better start doing it now while you can. While we have time. This is a message and a warning for us to move right. This is beyond the law. This is a bigger situation going on. And these things that are taking place play into biblical things that have been said in the Bible. I really don't want to get too far into that because then I'm gonna have to go to a whole nother live stream. But this is, look, we got to start moving right. You know, when you hear the saying, pray for one another, that's what this is about. But this is not going to affect every single person here. That is the misinformation that they want to doom and gloom and fear you into. Well, if they're getting them, they're going to get everybody. America cannot, no country is going to simply get rid of every single citizen that they have here. It wouldn't be a country anymore. That doesn't make any type of sense. Why would America get rid of every single Latino person, every single black person, every single Asian person, every single white person, every single the list goes on. It does not make sense. Why would America get rid of every single, especially when it comes to the white folks? Because y'all know, y'all be like, well, America's just white. They just want to keep the white people here. Okay, so imagine if America got rid of every single white person. How the hell will we have a country? What would this be? What would any country be if they got rid of every single person? They're going to need people. And they're telling you how you gotta be. Yeah, what's up, Larice? Larice Savoy says Trump said any illegals, not just the Mexican, Chinese, Haitian. He said all illegals. So when it comes to a community near you, if there's any illegals in your community, and we got illegals of all ethnicities. That's what I'm saying. But listen, if you are legal and you are legit and you are law-abiding, you're good. Don't operate in fear. Operate out of faith. And if you're not in that particular scenario, then you need to start moving accordingly. You need to start moving accordingly very quickly. to make sure that you're not next. It's about people. Yeah, it's not about race. It's about people, period. You know how many illegal immigrants that are in this country? There's thousands and I don't think y'all understand the numbers of people that are here that are illegal. Yeah, Waco's right. Trump said all. Why are we acting surprised? Trump said he's getting all of them. He didn't say some of them. He's getting them all. He's getting rid of all of them. It's crazy, man. So listen, we need to walk in love. We need to walk under biblical principles. We need to be doers of the word, like the Bible says. We need to be doers of the word. You better, look, if there's a time, you better pray for God to protect you. The Bible says God will protect you. And he has shown that. Now, there's a lot of people that play with God's word. They act like they following God, but they wicked as hell. You got a lot of false prophets. You got wolves in sheep's clothing. You got lukewarm people who they say when it's convenient to talk about, yeah, I follow God just because it's convenient, but you're not about that life. We got to be about that life. If you about that, you keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, he'll protect you. That's a promise. That's literally a promise. And that's what we need to do. Listen, y'all, I appreciate every last one of y'all who pulled up to the chat. Those of you that disagree with me as those of you that agree with me. We just got to start moving different. We've got to start moving different. We got to start moving different, man. There's a lot going on that y'all don't realize. I want to bring a point up. Free Americans said Mexican waitresses are carrying drugs and firearms. You never know who's running drugs, running traps. You think it because they working a job and everything is legit. You never know what's going on. But just because you don't know doesn't mean that ICE don't know and the government don't know. Listen, y'all. You don't think that the government and powers don't know all the information about all of us? Y'all really think like you can just hide from them? Like they don't know who you are and who I am? They know everything. That's why they're going after certain individuals. Of course they're gonna be like, it's unfair. They came and got me while I was working. They came and did this. If you not moving right, that's what happens. They might believe that they're moving right because they believe certain things and they had a misunderstanding on how the law works, or they had a misunderstanding with things. When you come through border security, border control, whatever you want to call it, they know who's coming through the border. They know what's coming through the border. It's just like products and services. You can't have certain products that are here in America that haven't been properly vetted. Now, people sneak things in. People try to avoid border control. They try to avoid inspections. They try to do all that and get stuff here illegally. But just because it's here and avoids it doesn't mean that it's legal. I'm just saying. It's a lot that's going on now. It's a lot going on now. And it's a tough pill to swallow. But that's what we do here at Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC. Okay, yeah, Leah Flock, 53, deportation is inhumane. You see what I'm saying? Y'all want to talk about something inhumane? Talk about, like I said, just in my family alone. Talk about the water hose being sprayed on you and being attacked and being beaten, being hung and being hit, all that type of stuff. Where you can't go to the same restaurant. You can't drink the same water. You can't do this. You can't do that. Why? Because you black and they white. They talk about having the military sent on us. And I understand what the laws say in the country. I get all of that. And I'm not saying that it's right. But I'm trying to make a point. Y'all want to talk about being inhumane acts? Y'all ain't seen nothing. A lot of migrants have not experienced nothing in comparison to what we've experienced. In terms of just getting shot. Y'all talking about getting deported You still have your life. Imagine getting pulled over and then you're shot dead and you're gone. You're gone. At least you're still around to potentially try to fight it or try to do something or have your family fight it or do something. Imagine just getting completely unalived right on the spot, getting beat on the spot. See, these are some of the things we went through in America. Welcome to America. We've had our own police used against us. This is the real history of America. It's a tough pill to swallow. So if you're a migrant coming here, welcome to America. Yeah, Christina's right. Our ancestors lost their lives. Lost our lives just to be able to vote. Listen, y'all. Y'all talking about due process? Let me make a point. Our ass couldn't even have the right to due process or to vote. We weren't even considered citizens. At least there was some type of situation to where migrants had some type of opportunity to become citizens. There's a lot on the history of America that a lot of people don't even want to look at and don't even want to acknowledge. It's so gruesome. It's so bad. It's so just whatever you want to put it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. A lot of stuff as it relates to the military. Us not even being considered a soldier in the military, but yet we had to fight alongside the military. Man, there's so much with the history. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. So why migrants, and I'm not saying it's right, but why migrants like, oh, they came and just snatched me up out of the car. They came and snatched me up at work and they took me. At least you still alive. At least we not hearing stories. I know people cracking jokes, but we not hearing stories about nobody getting ate up by alligators at Alligator Alcatraz, let alone other things. Y'all got air conditioning. Y'all still alive. We had atrocities with just straight up unimaginable. Come on now. And this is only a fraction of it. We could start going into to the Indians. Man, listen, y'all. Welcome to America. The tough pill to swallow. We got to do right. You got to move right if you want to be here. Otherwise, America ain't having it. America's not having it. America is not having it. You know, the guy here, he talked about the economic wealth, the financial contribution that we contribute as being black. A lot of us was forced to work, forced to build, forced to create through slavery. Listen, when it comes to due process, I keep people saying that they're denying due process. If you're breaking the law, your whole due process just got overrode. Due process is for citizens. If you're here breaking the law, listen, I already had an attorney break this down. A lot of people just keep hollering, due process, due process, due process. Listen, y'all got to understand the law. I had an attorney earlier. I showed the videos. I broke it down. We talked about this. We've exhausted that whole due process narrative. Yeah, Mike Spots says it correctly. They all got spoiled with no consequences. There have been so many migrants that have been here in our country and there's been no consequences. They'll be able to get around the system, hustle the system, do whatever. No consequences. It's crazy, man. And now that it's consequences, now everybody's getting involved. You have Jovica Gassick says, how do you determine that they broke the law? That's why we got a legal system. Number one, that's why we have law enforcement. That's not our particular role as citizens. That is why we have the legal system. That's why we have law enforcement. That's what they go to work to do. While somebody might be a baker and they go to work to bake. Somebody might be work in retail fashion And their job is to be an expert in clothes, to determine what's fashionable. Or a baker might determine what's good for desserts or what's good breads or what's good, whatever it is, right? That's what we have the legal system for. That's what we have law enforcement. That's what we have federal agents for. Their job is to determine that. Their job, they have intel. There's intel on people that you don't know, like the example that I have given. And I'm not saying that everybody is right, but as a whole, no. Right? That's the point I'm trying to make. And listen, if you got a problem with our law enforcement, then get the hell out of the country. Listen, if you got two options, or you got three options. Either you just go along with how it is when it comes to our law enforcement. You go and try to get involved legally or at a local level as best as you can and try to make changes with our law enforcement, or you just get the hell on and you leave America. This is how it is. Listen, do you think that it's any different in any country? You go to any country on the face of the planet, they got their law enforcement. They got rules and things that they can and can't do. You think everybody agrees with it? But I'll tell you one thing they'll do in that country. If you disagree with their law enforcement, they're going to look at you as a terrorist. And most likely, they're going to either lock your behind up or execute you. Why is it that when we come here in America, all of a sudden we think it's any different? Yeah, full circle 8. Listen, let me make something clear. I work in law enforcement. I specifically work in public safety in the school systems. There's things that I see, there's things that I know that you as a parent, you as a visitor, you as somebody on the outside have no idea what's going on. And then we implement and we enforce and we do what we got to do. And y'all have no idea what's going on. Y'all seeing the enforcement process go on and y'all thinking it's not right. Not knowing the intel, not knowing the information, not knowing the receipts that we got. I'm trying to break this down. Like Full Circle 8 says, and all the arrests we are seeing, we have no idea what intel they might have on those people. You have no idea what's going on. I put my life at risk to protect our children. Why? Because I love children. Because I'm a parent on my own. I love what I do. I love what I do. Putting my life at risk to keep y'all safe, to keep teachers, to keep principals, to keep other law enforcement members safe, to keep the community safe, because I love what I do. Because I love the fact that I know that when you send your kids off to school, you know that you got somebody that care about your child, care about your children, and that they're safe. So you got peace of mind to go out and do whatever it is you do. And you know that, hey, he looking at the job, brainwaves on the job, he looking after them. Shoot, when it comes time to pick them up, they're going to be good. There's a lot of people that are in these positions and they care about making things right. It's crazy. Listen, Rebecca Downey says you don't have any receipts. You claim you were beaten and bitten. Do you not understand what it means to be a black man in America? I mean, what kind of receipts do I need to show you? Look at the facts. You think I'm actually going to show you my dealings with law enforcement as if I had that under video camera? I'm older than a lot of y'all. A lot of these things took place when we didn't have cameras on our cell phones. I was around before cell phones even came out. What are you talking about? This is just crazy, man. This is crazy. And when I talked about it, you want to not acknowledge what happened during slavery. You want to not acknowledge that there have been so many black people that have been bit by dogs, that have been sprayed by water hoses. You must be one of the people that have decided to forget about the history of America. And that's why some of the migrants coming to America be like, oh, none of this took place. Everything is great. And then when they come into America, they'll be like, oh shit, this happened to black folks. This happened here. This is, oh, I ain't know nothing about that because they ain't teaching in the schools. They act like they don't want to talk about it. People don't want to bring us up in the conversation. See, I'm bringing up the information of what took place. And let me say this. You cannot prove that I have not. Where's your proof? Look, let me show you how I'm going to shut down Rebecca Downey. Where's your proof that I have not? Where's the video, Rebecca? Where's somebody coming out from law enforcement? You don't know what I've personally been through. You have no proof that I have not. So you have no leg to stand on. Come on now. This goes even further. I want to talk about what No Reply said. No Reply said those dogs and hoses were used on white people too, bro. Go look at the pictures. So let me make a point. Let's run with that theory. Let's run with that narrative. Guess what, migrants? Let's run with this narrative, right? That No Reply said. You got white people that were sprayed with hose. White people that were attacked with dogs. But yeah, you want to migrate here to America and now you want to complain about being deported? Without trying to get involved. Now you want to get involved that Trump got in and Trump is passing this. But when you was here, month after month, year after year, long before he got in, you didn't want to get involved? Rebecca, you're the one who made the claim that I did not go through it. So prove it. You are the one who made the claim that I did not have these experiences. Show me your video proof. Show me your witnesses. You can't. So shut the hell up. If you can't prove what you say, then it's no point of saying it. It's stupid. This is what I'm talking about. You got people that want to refute people's experiences. Listen, this whole time, I have not said that migrants aren't being deported. This whole time, I have not said that migrants have not had experiences of dealing with ICE, dealing with police, dealing with the court system. I never said that. They're having these experiences, but you got somebody like Rebecca that will try to say that I didn't have the experiences that I had. And that's the same thing of saying that they haven't had the experiences. You see? Yeah, Sunshine Milton is very stupid. Rebecca, I'm not about to come up here on YouTube and show about my dealings with the police. Like, who the hell you think would do that? What is your problem? For you to say I did not, how about you prove it? You are the one challenging what I have to say. So you are the one that, do you not understand how the law works? Let me show you how dumb Rebecca is. Rebecca don't understand the law. I'm going to go with it since she want to troll, right? Rebecca's here trying to troll, so I'm about to check her. She is the one that's trying to bring me to court. She's the one that's trying to complain that I did not have the experience that I had. Not me. She's complaining that I didn't go through those experiences, right? Watch this, y'all. She has to provide the court with burden of proof that I didn't go through these experiences. Enough proof so that it can actually be a court case. Otherwise, if she can't prove that, no judge would actually allow this to move into their court. She does not have any proof to prove that I did not have these experiences. Therefore, a judge would shut her down and this wouldn't even be a court case. That's how ignorant people are. So she's shut down. You are the one who has the burden of proof, Rebecca, because you are the one bringing up, challenging the argument. Anytime you challenge somebody's argument and you challenge their opinion, the ball is in your court. You have to prove why you're challenging it. I'm not complaining about what I went through. See, listen, I'm not complaining, but you are, because you cannot prove that what I went through is a lie. Therefore, you're shut down. There is no court system. There's nobody that will argue and have your case presented. So boom, you're done. Go ahead and talk and say whatever you got to say, because obviously you're going to look like a fool. Anybody that has any understanding of how the court system works or how to present something understands that. If you make a YouTube video and then somebody challenges you, then it's your job. Once they challenge you, they got to prove why they challenging you. Yeah, it's all hearsay. She act like she's there. She act like she... See, let me show y'all something. there's individuals like Rebecca that's a part of the problem. Individuals like Rebecca that's a part of the problem. She will talk against something, but she don't provide any proof. She don't provide any actual receipts. This is crazy, man. It's crazy. What's up, Tweety? We got Tweety71 in the building. Says it, Janet, I notice I still just want everyone to have peace in their hearts. Everyone is fighting with each other while other people started it living without a care. Yeah, Tweety, at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Right? It's all about peace. Hey, what's up, Sandy? Look, Sandy, no. Rebecca needs to prove that what I went through is a lie, and she can't. This is what I be trying to say. People be on YouTube, y'all. This is what y'all got to understand. I got the most awesome people here. What's up, Tim? Tim think it's funny. To an extent it is, but it's true, right? Sandy said a point. Listen, we got content creators who lie on YouTube. You got people that's lying, people that's manipulated, people that put out false information, like the title of this live stream, putting out misinformation about what's going on. And our job as viewers, because I'm a viewer on other people's platforms, our job as viewers is to correct people and hold the line. This is why I appreciate y'all. Listen, when y'all come to my platform, y'all be coming through. Y'all say what y'all need to say. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all show this. Y'all do that. I got the best viewers, man. I got the best audience. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. My channel is nothing without y'all. I really do appreciate y'all. This is why I'm rocking out with y'all so long. What's up, Lee Paso? This is what it is. Yeah, look at what listen what what's it? Is it Brawlerden? Brawlerden says crossing illegally is a crime. And then Brawlerden also said Obama deported 3 million, Biden deported 4.4 million. Not one person complained about due process. Exactly. But now that Trump is in office, now everybody want to complain about due process. You don't think that a part of these illegal migrants that there wasn't some of other ethnicities besides Latino? You think that all of these 3 million under Obama, 4.4 million under Biden, you think they all were Latino? Come on, man. Nobody had complaints now, but now that Trump is in the office, everybody got complaints about it. It's crazy, man. I'm telling you. This is crazy. What's up, Jamel? And again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the new people pulling up. I appreciate y'all. I know I got some repeat people that are new here that came on like a particular show, maybe a day or a couple of days ago, a week ago. Man, shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for sticking through and rocking with me, and continue to rock out and continue to share your perspectives, because that's what this is about. This ain't no damn dictatorship over here. Listen, I don't run no dictatorship on my platform. This ain't about my opinion goes. Y'all can agree to disagree all day, every day, as long as we're being respectful about it. Now, what I don't tolerate is the name calling and you trying to challenge me on something that's a personal issue, even at that. Like, for example, like Rebecca did. And you got no receipts. You got no proof. You got no proof there. No witnesses, no nothing. And you just try to say, oh, yeah, that's not true. That's not true. Oh, really? So you were around with cameras and video and witnesses about what took place in my life. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. You got it. You got it. Okay, I got you. You got it. Listen, y'all. At the end of the day, those of us that get it, get it. Free American says, can we do a collab one day? I don't know. Do you have a platform? Do you have social media? Let me see what you about, or show me something. And yes, because I normally do collabs, or I normally do things like that, but I got to make sure that whoever I yoke myself to is moving accordingly, because it's a lot of people that are just wilding out here, and I'm not about to yoke myself to somebody, because then I'm gonna have to stand corrected and be accountable. So If you got something where I can kind of see who you are, check you out, hey, it is what it is. We can rock out. I definitely can have people on my show. I can have multiple people on my show, but what I'm not doing anymore is opening up my live chat to just anybody that's watching, because I've done that and you get too many trolls. I'm not doing that. So it has to be a behind the scenes thing at this point. But yes, that's a possibility. Granted that you have been vetted, so to speak. What's up, Rain and Zion? I appreciate you enjoyed the show. I prayerfully hope that there are other individuals that have enjoyed the show. I really hope that y'all enjoy the show. Yeah, Pat Jager is right. Somehow we all at some point in time had a run-in with the law. A lot of us, whether we did something stupid, we was young and dumb, whatever it is, we've had our run-ins with the law. It's crazy, man. Yeah, shout out to Tweety71. Hey, listen, prayers up for everybody in Texas, man. Them floods are crazy. They keep talking about the number, the death toll keeps going up. They got a month's worth of rain in a matter of hours. I seen the videos. I might talk about it. Y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all want me to talk about the floods in Texas, because that's things that I talk about. If my people want me to talk about it, then my people's wish shall be granted. So if y'all put a 1 in the chat and I see at least enough decent ones, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about what's going on. If y'all want me to talk about the floods in Texas and what does this mean and what's going on, again, y'all put a 1 in the chat. Yeah, full circle 8 is right. And that's exactly why I know the accuser has the burden of proof. So y'all make sure y'all, again, pray for our brothers and sisters. I don't care if they white, black, green, blue, purple, yellow, man. Pray for our people in Texas. I got family in Texas. Can I get some 1s if y'all want me to talk about it? I'll do a live stream. I got 1. I got 2 1s. I got 3 1s. Anybody else with the 1s? What's up, Sandy? Sandy, I am blessed by your presence. Thank you for being a part of my show. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everybody. Like I said, listen, man, I ain't up here discriminating. You might be a Democrat. You might be MAGA. You might be whatever. Listen, man, I ain't got no personal beef with you. Right? My job is to bring awareness and expose the truth in these situations. If you look at my YouTube banner, you go to my main channel page, that's what it's about. So I'm going to talk about, wow. Man, I'm humbled. Look at all the 1s, man. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what's going on with Texas with the floods. I'm going to talk about it, man. I've been blessed. I know Tweety, she definitely want me to talk about it because she's there. She's literally going through this. Wow. I'm humbled by all the 1s, man. Y'all don't understand, man. I'm literally humbled by it. I didn't think that y'all would care enough about my perspectives on what's going on regarding the weather in Texas. Well, best believe that's definitely a show coming up. Best believe it's definitely a show coming up. And Tweety, let me show you something. Because Tweety, because of you brought this up. You're actually one of the reasons why I'm going to do this show. So I want you to take a look at your status, Tweety. Matter of fact, hold on. I got one more. Hold on. I got one more. Take a look at your status, Tweety. Watch this, y'all. This is what I do from time to time. Yo, Rain and Zion, check it out. I appreciate y'all. I really do. You're welcome, Tweety. I got you. You got me. I got you. I appreciate it. Listen, hey, Mitch, we going to get down with all of this. Mitch says maybe it was weather modification. We going to talk about it. I'm going to be going live about this. I can't make any promises today, y'all, because I got family here at the crib, and I want to spend some time with that. Hey, Jet, just look, Jet, keep your eyes out, Jet. You never know, you might be next. Listen, I'm handing out riches from time to time to people that I know really appreciate the platform and appreciate these conversations and want to talk about it. You're welcome, Rain and Zion. I got you. I'm handing out riches from time to time. So y'all be on the lookout for that, because that's what I do. I'm really about this life, y'all. Really about this life. We got to have a place where we could talk about these things, and that's what my channel's about. So, see, look at this, man. Old Hanson says warning systems were not in place before the flood. And we're gonna talk about this, but hey, I've been look, see, Flock 53, exactly. Dubai had the same event. It was cloud seeding gone wrong. Listen, y'all, we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna break this down because there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a reason why I talk about a lot of biblical principles and things. Listen, y'all, I care about my audience. If I don't care about my audience, why am I on YouTube? I want y'all to be able to rock out. I want y'all to have a platform where you're around other individuals, right? I know y'all don't know each other. I know y'all don't, well, some of y'all don't know me. Some of y'all do know me, but I know a lot of y'all don't know me. I just want us to have a place where we can come together and we can rock out. We could talk about all these issues, the tough ones and the light ones, the heavy ones and the light ones, and we can rock out and we could do what we could do, right? So we're going to get down and talk about this stuff because what's going on, man, it's a lot of things going on at once. And it's not just about politics and not just about Trump. I appreciate that, Old Hanson. Old Hanson says my voice is easy to hear and understand. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You would think my down south ATL Georgia Southern dialect would be complicated to hear, but I appreciate that. I like to speak in a clear and concise manner unless I'm mimicking a particular voice or what have you. So, yeah, look, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. We're going to talk about this, y'all. So, hey, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Frankie M. What's up, Frankie M? Man, shout out to y'all, man. Got all the viewers pulling up. Frankie M says, thank you for delivering an intelligent conversation. I thank you for being a part of it, because it wouldn't be a conversation if you didn't pull up. So thank you so much. Listen, y'all, I need to go kick it with my family. I've been MIA for 3 hours. I got family staying here at the crib, you know what I'm saying? And I got this, as they say, the night is young. So I need to go spend some time with them, go kick it, go have some fun, get into some things. And I'll most likely do this Texas situation. I'm going to talk about the flooding in Texas tomorrow. So y'all be sure, be on the lookout for the thumbnail and be ready to pull up. Man, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, Jet is right. Jet says even with a warning system, not much can be done with rushing water at 4:30 a.m. Yeah, this happened overnight. Everybody sleep and then the water was coming through. This is crazy, man. Appreciate that, Pat Jager. You enjoy your day too. Listen, I hope y'all enjoy your day. If you on the other part of the world, you enjoy your night. Listen, do not live in fear, y'all. Y'all go out and do what you need to do. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love and on a sound mind. Thank you, Flock 53, for the sub. I appreciate you. Listen, do not live in fear. Whatever is going on, let's follow what is supposed to be biblical principles here. Okay, America essentially is, if you want to know what the predominant religion is here, right, it's Christianity. So essentially, America was originally at least based off of biblical principles. I'm not necessarily saying that's where we are today, but that's what we're based off of. So there's biblical principles, whether you believe in the Bible or not. It's not about a religion. This is biblical principles that actually will help us to walk in faith, to be empowered, to be encouraged, to be safe, to be protected. Let's move accordingly. Let's not move in fear. Let's not move and be scared like the doom and gloomers and people that don't follow the Bible. Yo, HBC Live says, I have a wild video for you to see about someone talking about the flood victims. Hey, HBC Lies, are they talking about the flood victims like in a bad way? Or are they lying? I would definitely like to know. And again, I'm going to show multiple perspectives here on my particular channel. So, yeah, Flock 53, all glory to God, man. Y'all be encouraged. Y'all be empowered. Y'all get it, man. Y'all go out there and you get it. Enjoy your life. You know, go after the things that you desire, you know, that are legal, you know, law-abiding, you know, that type of stuff. Y'all go get it, man. Don't be in fear. Y'all move accordingly. Y'all come up. We're winners over here. We're winning. We're winners. All of y'all that watch me, the biblical seed has been planted in your lives, whether you rock with God or not, to become a winner, to become a conqueror. The seed is there. Y'all just got to watch it play out. Y'all got to watch it manifest. Y'all will see. Appreciate that, Mitch. Appreciate that, Mitch. I appreciate your viewership. So, hey, y'all, we're going to talk about this later. Let me go kick it with my family. I'm a family man first and foremost. It is what it is. Make sure you double tap on the screen if you haven't done so. And thank you for being a part of all of this over 3 hours. We done went in. This is usually way longer than I do my lives. But hey, sometimes it's necessary. So it is what it is. Y'all enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Be encouraged. Be empowered. Do not live in fear. Have faith. Be, you know, just go out there and get it. Let's not be on this doom and gloom tip. Just because you watching stuff happen. Listen, there's a lot of wicked people out here. The world is inherently evil. Satan has been given dominion over this earth. So, of course, a lot of stuff's going to be wicked. People are not going to walk around like, I'm wicked. They're going to smile. They're going to seem like they're legit. But just because they do that don't mean that they're not wicked. And just because they do that doesn't mean that they're not righteous. Like, y'all get what I'm saying. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the subscribe, HBC Lies. I appreciate it, man. Y'all, listen, y'all get it. Y'all be encouraged. Let me speak life into y'all. Be encouraged. So many people tearing us down. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. Be encouraged. Have faith. No fear. No fear. We got faith over here. Faith. Faith. God will protect us. We're safe under God's protection. All we got to do is do what he says and we good. All we got to do is try to do the best we can to live right and live just and believe that God died for our sins. Y'all get it? John 3:16. You ain't got to go to a church to believe that. You don't have to go to a church to be saved. You can be saved right where you are, right here. You ain't got to tell nobody. You don't have to show nobody. You ain't got to tell me. Nobody watching. Nobody got to know. You can just do it right where you are. In your car, at work, at home, wherever you are. Boom, you can do it and let God work accordingly. Nobody got to know. So, hey, I mean, if you want to tell the world, hey, that's fine too. But I'm saying nobody got to know. You just do what you do. So let's get it. Let's come up. Let's continue to be, those of us that are here in America, let's be what America's about. Let's uphold what America's about. Let's support what America's about in terms of the core fundamentals. I'm not talking about any particular law or particular thing as a whole. We're trying to live the American dream. We are living the American dream. So let's get it. Yes, let's learn from the past and let's move accordingly. So, hey, I'll catch y'all on the next one. It's going to be most likely about the weather situation in Texas, unless something crazy is breaking. And then maybe I got to do that first. But we're going to do that soon enough. Stay tuned. I'll be back most likely tomorrow. I'm about to kick it with my family, and we're going to go from there. I'm about to have me some fun. Going to have me some food, a lot of relaxation. You know, I might go to the pool. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get into some stuff. But y'all go and enjoy your life as best as you can. Shout out to everybody in Texas that's dealing with the flooding. Y'all be safe. Y'all stay safe. I hope y'all safe. It's crazy times, man. We got to stick together at the end of the day. So those of us that get it. That being said, make sure you double tap the screen on your way out. Peace and blessings to y'all. I'll catch